All right, that is enough of the intro music. Let's go ahead and get started. First thing I would like to say is take a good look at all the names at the bottom. Thank you to each and every one of y'all. A lot of those are gifted members. If you want to change that, you can update that. The other thing I want to say is welcome to the Gaming Den. Tonight we have a ton of stuff to talk about. What's up, Henry Heck? I see you in the chat already. Tonight we have a lot of stuff to talk about. We have a lot of guests coming through tonight. Super happy. It's going to be a great show. Tonight we are going to discuss Helldivers 2 and the crossover with Halo. Wow. I kind of saw that coming because people reported on it, but did not see that coming because, wow. But hey, what's up, Toolman? Dude, nice to see you. Then, PlayStation consoles are getting more expensive, but only in the US. Tonight at 9. Tonight at 10 and 10:30, you can also hear us talk about Microsoft and Asus's new Xbox Ally handhelds. God, that's a mouthful. But the same mouthful they are trying to get their customers to swallow with the estimated and rumored price tag. Also, we're going to discuss a little bit about how they revealed it today during the Xbox, whatever the hell it was called this morning. Yeah, just a few things that I at least want to talk about, and I'm sure the other guys may have some opinions on it if they saw it. Also, last week we covered Black Ops 6 and the devs saying that, it's too big to fail. Microsoft said, it's too big to fail. It's not going to happen. We're fine. We're not worried about Battlefield. Who gives a crap? Let them go over there and do their stuff. Kind of a pat on the head moment like, we're not worried. Too big to fail. Well, now, there's reports coming out that the devs are closely monitoring fan feedback on weird skins. No kidding. Why would you do that? Why? You've been doing them for so long. Why? What would make you start taking fan feedback seriously? All the fans who have said for years that they've wanted it to be more grounded, to go back to the way it used to be. I wonder why. Sounds like you're saying one thing and meaning another, or actually doing another. And then at the very end of the day, in the Discord, if you're not in the Discord, you can join the Discord. It's in the description below. But at the very end of the day, we got this article sent to me by Nelson Gaming 12. Nelson's Gaming Culture, Nelson Gaming 12, either or. And Dragon Quest publisher, producer Ryuto Ichimaru left Square Enix because it was prioritizing safe or copycat games. To put it bluntly, Square Enix was copying others. Holy crud. That's crazy. That's like, wow. That's nuts. Because crazy enough, we've been saying that for a while, that Square Enix has been playing it safe, trying to cater to certain markets, blah, blah, blah. And now you have one of their producers, and we're going to talk a little bit about the games he worked on and stuff like that, but we're going to talk about one of their producers who is saying that, like, hey, this kind of validates what y'all have been thinking, that it's been playing it safe for a while. What's up, Hero? What's up, William Aguilar? How are you? But with all of that being said, those are the topics for the night. I'm really excited about it. Can't wait to get into it. And if you could, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. It truly helps out the channel a lot. Also, if you feel so inclined, you can share it out. You can hit the join button. You can super chat. All of that we do have. It's not up, but we do have a goal. Here is thy goal. That's not the goal. Here it is. We have a goal for, just as the past several weeks, for Lies of P stream continued. It's a member stream, or not a member stream, it's a member goal stream that y'all have hit now 2 weeks in a row. And so this week, time to go for the third. If y'all want to hit it, it's 15 members, and just like afterwards, just like last week, I'll go ahead and stream Lies of P afterwards. Y'all have been getting a kick out of how I can't block or how I can't dodge, and yeah, so it's fun. I've also fallen off of buildings, but as is tradition now, I have not sold my pants, so that is good. Watch what people do, don't watch what they say. Abso-freaking-lutely. Warawana already hitting it off with the deuce. Thank you, Warawana. That is an Australian too also, so it gets delivered by a kangaroo. With all of that being said, though, guys, let's have a wonderful night, and it looks like the entire panel is here. Faulky was like, Thrifty talks for too damn long. I can show up 10 minutes late. It's not a big deal, and you know what? He's right. So let's go over to the panel. These guys are awesome. I can shut up, really, and just let them talk.
And all the fucking bullshit.
All right.
I like you for you.
That's a
I
great.
appreciate you.
Faulky, you raised the prices. What are you doing?
Yeah,
what
Faulky's all your fault.
He recalculated the
Hey,
numbers.
don't tell anyone. Don't tell him. You know, I tell you, it's funny. Because he saw it pop up this morning. Oh, I wonder if it's cheaper to buy one in US dollars than Australian dollars yet. No, the bastards are still $40 dearer when you do the conversion.
I
And
wonder
what's
if they
crazy,
know
at
that
least
live.
Sony gave that. At least they gave you a day to kind of run out today and go get one before.
Yeah.
Microsoft's just like, yeah, you missed it.
So,
Oh, no,
how are y'all doing?
We cop
Yo, what's up?
Y'all doing pretty good?
Yeah, we're good.
Hey, Hero, it is the A team. It is absolutely the A team. We're just going to go down the line. Faulky, how are you, sir?
Going well. Thank you for having me. Apologies for being late. The dog kept me at the door for a little bit, so yeah, you need to chain that thing up when you leave the door unlocked, mate.
Yeah. So, what have you been playing?
I have been trying to play Death Stranding, the first one.
How's that going?
It's interesting. I find myself getting distracted, thinking that I've got to deliver everything because I'm a hoarder in that respect. And it took me forever to figure out that the deliveries with the numbers actually recycle, and you can end up doing them again and again and again. So, no, it's doing well. I'm enjoying it. I've managed to figure out how the story progresses and getting lost in the lore of the emails, and I had to pop up on the screen the other day. So you've got these emails that just keep pinging up. It's like, I get enough of that shit during the day. I don't need it during my gaming time. So, yeah, no, it's doing well. Doing that, and it's pretty much been the only game I've been playing. Has been, financial season, audit season. I've been pretty busy, so not getting a lot of game time. But weather's starting to warm up, getting a few clearer days, and hopefully we'll get a bit more time back now that the audits are finished.
Yeah, man. I know it's a terrible, terrible time for you, and so I appreciate you coming on the show. It's always a roll of the dice. Is Faulky going to be over there solving somebody's big issue, or is he going to be able to make it? We don't always know. So I truly appreciate your time, man. And Hero said that Chapter 5 is so emotional from Death Stranding. So he said he just started Chapter 6, so he's on this journey with you.
Yeah, no, he's a little bit in front of me. I found one of his signs the other day and actually got really excited. It was the name of someone I recognised.
Oh, that's really cool, dude.
So,
it's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
That's so cool. Jez, what's up, man?
Yo, thank you so much, man. I know I hit up Thrifty. I was like, hey, if you need I know you're full tonight, but hey, if you need a backup, I'm here. And I did my Joe Hendry thing. But yo, thank you for inviting me on, man. I appreciate it. There's a lot going on, a lot of craziness going on. I've been playing Sword of the Sea, enjoying that. Yeah, this game is tranquil as hell, man. This is like chill out game. It is crazy.
But it's not tranquil in the terms of like it puts you to sleep, because I can't put the damn thing down.
Yeah, I just keep wanting to just jump in and do. It is pretty crazy. Like it's like a mix of Tony Hawk type stuff. Like it's pretty wild. Like how you do there's trick areas and stuff. It's so. You know what's great about this game though is that it kind of brings me back to like how I was like when I first started playing Pathless and Journey, which I never played those games before until I got a PlayStation. And I was like, oh wow, these games are like cool, like just the chill out games, like, you know, and they don't kind of have like all the narrative and story. Like it's just you just figure out like what the hell's going on, but you get it, even though there's nobody's telling you what to do. You're just like, oh, okay, this just does this, like, and yeah, you just find out these puzzle elements,
dude.
But yeah, now enjoying that, doing Death Stranding as well, and it's so incredible. The Sword of the Sea, man. It's so like the graphics and the smoothness of it is just incredible.
The transformations look sick as hell too. Like I'm just gonna be honest. Like when they do the big one at the end of each region, when you like unlock the whole region, and they do the big one, it looks really cool. So
it is so cool.
In our house today, because you can have 3 save files, so it works out great. I have two children. My children have actually been playing this. We have logged 7 hours on that game today between the 3 of us. And
that is crazy.
It's literally, my youngest was like, Dad, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to grab the controller and I'm going to start playing. I said, well, we have a rule in our house, no, because it's school year. And so there's no gaming before school. And so,
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, you would really, and they know if they get caught gaming before school, they lose a full day of gaming. And so I was like, you'd really go ahead and get rid of a full day? Yeah, I don't care. Okay, well, I told my wife, I was like, I'm gonna have to hide the controllers tonight because they're gonna wake up and just be glued to this stupid thing. It's really really good.
It really is. It's really good.
But yeah, man. Hey, thanks for reaching out to me about coming on tonight. I saw you message and I was like, you know what? Heck yeah. Let's just we have Will on already. We get Faulky, gonna get Jez. It's just gonna be an all-star cast tonight, which is great because we've had a lot of crap come out. There's like 4 game shows.
Literal crap too.
Literal crap
going on.
Oh my god, it was so bad. We'll get into that though. Will 777JP, you are here, my friend. How are you, sir? First, before you answer that, I want to say congratulations on 1,300 subscribers. That's fantastic.
Congrats.
Thank you for coming to the Little Guys show. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, congratulations on your Mafia video hitting 6,500 views. That's awesome. So just wanted to get those out of the way. Yeah, that's great. Go ahead.
I appreciate that, man. No, thank you. I've been busting my ass over on YouTube.
Yes, you have.
It feels like it's a freaking full-time job, but I love it. I get to talk gaming, and part of the reason I made it was because in the YouTube world, we have so many people that talk gaming but don't really game. And I just got fed up of guys telling me what I should play, what I shouldn't play. And I'm like, dude, you played like 400 hours this year. What are you talking about? So I appreciate all the support. Thank you guys. Go check out that Mafia review video. When I do these review videos, I really take my time. Usually takes me about a week to make them. I do a ton of research. I use a dictionary. I try to use words I don't normally use in my everyday life. I try to make it something unique and cool. So go check that out. But yeah, man, I've been gaming a lot. After I finished Mafia, I've kind of been in that limbo where I'm like, nothing is exciting. I'm kind of like, So I've been playing a lot of crap. And thankfully, this week has been phenomenal in gaming. I did check out a little bit of the Prince of Persia, the Rogue Prince, which is available on PS Plus and Xbox Game Pass. Yeah, it came out today. Which, man, the movement in this game is phenomenal.
It
reminds
good?
me a lot of that. Yeah, dude, it's pretty good
so far. It looked like
about,
straight ass, so that's why I was asking.
It plays pretty good. Yeah, the art style is more cartoony, but the movement in it feels good. I mean, it's not going to be as fast as the previous Prince of Persia game that came out a couple years ago or last year, but just the movement, moving around, you can climb up the walls. It's pretty cool. Sword of the Sea, of course, I checked that out last night. Did a stream with it. So shout out to Warwana, a couple of the other guys that showed up to that stream. I'm a big fan of that studio. I mean, Journey, I loved it so much. I had to get myself a physical copy, and it was very hard because they only published it in Europe. And I had to go over there and get it, so I paid a pretty penny for it. But I'm glad it's in the collection. And thanks, shout out to Morgan. Morgan put me on Crime Scene Cleaner. As you guys know, I'm a huge Power Wash Simulator gamer, and I platinumed the game a couple of months ago, and I haven't found anything to scratch that itch. But this Crime Scene Cleaner game has definitely done that.
Where that come out? Crime Scene Cleaner. That's out.
Yeah, it's out. So I thought it was gonna be one of those fluff games that are on PlayStation Store. You know what I'm talking about? They're just the bullshit games. But Morgan played it, and she's like, no, it's actually good. So I've been playing that. I've been hooked, man. I got like 8 hours into it, and I got it Sunday. But yeah, it's pretty good, man. You just go around cleaning up crime scenes, and it's
like Power Wash Simulator, but crime scenes.
Yeah, so yeah, you clean up, it's crime scenes. So you're cleaning up bodies, blood. You're trying to move furniture around to make it look like how it was before everything got broken. There's a story behind it. Interesting, like you'll get called up by a mafia boss, be like, hey, I made a mess at the pizza shop, go take care of it, and you go in, there's like 11 dead bodies that you got to get rid of.
That's cool.
Remember John Wick, when he, in the beginning of the movie, they killed his dog and he murdered all those people and the cleaners came? Like,
yeah,
that's your job.
You do? Oh,
that's what you do in the game.
It's not like you're the cops like trying to.
No.
You're
the cleaner.
That is so cool.
So you're trying to make sure the guy gets away with it.
Yes, yeah, you're trying to clean it up so the cops don't find, trying to get rid of evidence. But the guy, and what I like about it is that they made some effort. So the guy is doing this because his daughter is sick. and the medical bills are mounting up, right? So of course he's gonna try to make some money on the side, and he fell into this. But interesting game. But thankfully, the only interesting news that actually excited me today out of Gamescom and whatever else, Gotti has a fall release date. That is Power Wash Simulator 2. Can't wait for that.
I knew you were going to say that.
We finally know that is fall. Yeah, that's what I've been gaming on. Yeah,
hey,
wash it.
Listen, I can't judge anybody for their gaming choices ever again. I have put 12 hours into Diablo 1 on the PC. So I've literally played that game, gotten back down to hell, done everything. I even downloaded a mod and modded the game on my PC so I could use controller support, but it did all these other cool things like smoothed out the graphics, gave it this really cool fresh coat of paint, made everything run better. It runs at like 170 frames per second now. Like it's so cool. And so I can't hate on anybody, man. This is everybody's gonna play whatever the hell they want to, and as long as you're gaming, I don't really give a rat's ass. And honestly, I hear so many cool games from other people that I'm like, hell yeah, I'll try that out. Or like I was talking to Wara and Josh last night in the Discord, and I was like, Lies of P, honestly, it was a game that got my attention because of how well the buzz rose over the Overture, which was the DLC that came out. Like, I remember the game releasing, and I heard about it, and I was like, oh, cool, and people were like, it's Souls-like, it's this, it's that, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, I'll pass up on that. I was probably doing something else at the time, and it just didn't excite me because it said it was a Souls-like, and so I'm like, all right, cool. So fast forward, the Overture gets released, they talk about the new game modes that they had for difficulty, and I see people clamoring about the Overture. They're so excited, they're this, they're that. Wara points out last night as we're talking that it was one of the first time or one of the first times that a game actually had more people concurrent on the DLC than they did on the actual game at one time. Because of how the game like progressed in sales, it was kind of a trickle effect over time. And so like I had all of this buzz about the game, and so I had to pick it up. So hearing people, especially people within the community, talk about these games and like the Prince of Persia game. You played it. I saw the trailer for it and was like, that looks like straight ass. I do not want to touch that. I said that actually in Jez's live stream. I was like, that game looks like shit. I hate it. It was bad, and I was looking forward to it. I'm still waiting for a good Prince of Persia game. And so, like, I was hoping this maybe would be it. But here we go from William R. Aguilar. He's going to get us started on our first topic. He says, it's a cope. So he's prefacing with he knows what he's about to say is a little bit of some bullshit. But it's a cope. But it's nice to see that you can still buy a PS5 for $500. Also paying pre-cope. That's funny. Also paying $500 to $600 for a PS6 will be cheap compared to $800 for the next-gen Xbox PC. Wara makes a good point going after. He said consoles should be cheaper than PCs. It's the whole point of a console. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this because we do have a price increase, and we do have rumored prices from Bill Bacune, or Bilby Kuhn, or however you say it, and the dude's pretty accurate on shit. And so we have some price leaks from him on what it's going to be for the ROG Ally and the ROG Ally X and all of that stuff. So we're going to go ahead and dive into that now because that's kind of where that comment's going to take us. And yeah, go ahead.
No. Premium gaming is a 1080p at $1,000 for a handheld. Is that what we're taking out of this now? Is that the benchmark? Because if that's the benchmark, just shut it down. Just give it up. Don't even bother.
Yeah.
That's the benchmark. I said this. Can't remember who I said this to. I'm going to go on a rant here. I can't remember who I said this to, but I was like, if that is the benchmark and you pay $1,000 for 1080p handheld gaming, what's the point? There is no point at all. If that is the pinnacle, and the worst thing about this is they're going to tell you that this is the best thing since sliced bread and you can't be without it, and that the market will respond to it because they're going to make you think that having less is better for more dollars. That's how they're going to market this thing. It is an absolute joke that they think they're going to be able to sell that. It's a joke at that
Well,
price point.
Faulky, it's the same thing that happened with their $80 Outer Worlds game, right? They thought that, $80 is the way to go because
Yeah.
Nintendo did it, and I talked about this on Sunday. It's like, let's be real here. Let's look at the numbers. How many handhelds are selling gangbusters like that besides Nintendo? Who?
No,
Go on.
they're not.
720, 1080p. 1080p is what in a handheld in that small screen? It's ridiculous. And
Well,
charging
Faulky, here's the
$1,000
thing, though.
for it. What's the point?
It's 10. Wait a second. You're saying 1080p. As an owner of these handhelds, and I had many of them, and I have one. 1080p is if the game will run on 1080p. You're not running Assassin's Creed, the new one, on 1080p. You may have to drop that down to 900p to get 60 frames, to get your frames. Like, the screen itself is 1080p, but the game's performance is going to vary. You see what they're showing. They're not showing like Cyberpunk and all those other games. They're showing Silk Song. They're showing all these other, like, the Bellatro stuff. Every game is going to run differently on here, and you may, in order to get 60 frames, it's not guaranteed 1080p 60. You see the new thing that they had today, right? There's a badge, there's a Phil Ness badge that it works, and there's the I think badge if it may work. That's they're going to have now.
Exactly
I
right.
think
So
yeah.
we're talking about pricing of consoles and price points, all this other stuff. If the entry point is max 720p with a half-size SSD, and it might run most games, but it's a licensed product effectively. It's got an Xbox logo and an Xbox button on it, and it's made by, it's a ROG Ally, and it's at $700, and people are cracking up about the price tag on a Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
Which is, to argue the point, for technical specs, potentially a better performing product for less dollars. Like, with what? How can you call it a premium gaming experience? Like, they should be dragged out and shot for lying to the consumers.
So
it's nuts.
Here's
Well,
all
the
they
monster
did.
that eats for breakfast, they did that too with the Xbox.
Yeah,
I mean,
they don't
but-
care.
they don't care.
Here's what
And
they
they don't
did.
care if
So,
this sells either. It's not their hardware.
exactly, because
Yeah.
they did the reveal today, and Wara was watching it, and because he saw my comment, and apparently they were going through and deleting certain comments, but Wara was like, I saw yours because they were describing what it was, and I was like, so they added a button. That was my whole comment. I said, so they added a button. That's because here's the logic behind that. Okay, I have one of my PS5 controllers is Bluetooth to my PC, right? I use it for Steam, I use it for Epic, and I use it for, well, now Diablo 1. And so, like, I have it, and when I press the PS button, it turns on the controller. Then, once it's Bluetooth connected, if I press it again, it pulls up the Steam PlayStation landing window, where, like, you press it, it pulls up the Steam page, but it's formatted in a way that is very familiar feeling to a PlayStation owner. And so that's kind of cool. But that doesn't make my PC a PS5 now. Just because I can push the fucking button and have it turn on, it doesn't make it a PS5. That's the same exact thing. Oh, also, funny enough, my PC is primarily white with a black glass door on it, so it kind of looks like a PS5. Oh, and I have the blue LEDs going. Anyways, so it's kind of a PS5, but that alone, the color scheme, the way it looks, and the fact that I can turn on the gaming portion of it by pressing the PS button on my controller means that it is not, or doesn't mean that it is a PS5. The same way, the ROG Ally with an Xbox button and Xbox color scheme does not make it an Xbox. And that's the thing that is frustrating, and that's the thing that they're screwing people over on. And Wara, I know I'm quoting him
There's
a lot,
so
but
much confusion.
He said
There's
some
so
good
much
shit
confusion.
in the Discord earlier. He said, in response to Henry saying, a buddy of mine who is a first-gen ROG is interested in getting one. I told him it wasn't going to play the games except through streaming. He thought I was lying. Wara responds instantly and says, it's not his fault, to be honest. It's deliberate misleading marketing. They wanted people to think it does something it doesn't, because once you get it, then you find out, you just accept it, and they hope that you're going to just move on to be a PC gamer now. Like,
Consumer friendly, my ass.
Oh. Did you see the first comment on the Xbox? I tweeted it out. The first comment underneath the Xbox Rog Ally, I tweeted it out, and it's basically this person. Where they say it, I have it right here. It says the person wrote, where is it? Here it is. They go 559 games owned on my Xbox account. Only 25 games support Xbox Play Anywhere. Calling this device Xbox makes no sense when it can't run 95% of Xbox games. It should have been called PC Rog Ally or Windows Rog Ally. Using Xbox as a name for a handheld is incredibly misleading. Imagine parents buying this as a gift, which is going to be a very expensive gift, to find out that their kids can't play Xbox games on it. And then somebody wrote right after that, then the second highest one is, it's just a ROG Ally with an Xbox logo.
That's freaking insane. Faulky, what were you saying about this, man?
I was saying it's consumer friendly, my ass. It's like, come on. And I know I'll get flack for this because everyone likes to pile on when I get stuck into Xbox management. But they're doing a horrible job with this.
Mm-hmm.
They've and preceding this announcement or reveal or whatever the hell you want to call it, they had their supposed head of hardware, who doesn't have a team anymore, the Grand Wizard Randall or whatever his name is,
Gaming Gandalf, we call him.
Gaming Gandalf.
He's showed up and gone, oh, we're doing these great things. We're partnering with AMD and we've got all this awesome stuff happening and all blah, 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 the next gens. And the ROG Ally is the first indication of the experiments that we're doing. What can it do? Fuck all. It is actually, other than the most expensive button put on a device in history, more than likely, it's not going to do much more than what you can do elsewhere. Why is there such excitement for this at that stupid price point?
They are.
It's
going.
just, it's nuts.
Speaking of
genuinely nuts, and they get away with it.
William has
the
something.
Shit out of everybody.
William with the $10, and then Jez, you can actually speak into this here in just a second. Xbot told me I'm a moron because there's a cheaper ROG Xbox Mini PC handheld for $550, and I said to him, if you are playing a game at 720 upscaled from 540 on a device that is more than $500 in 2025, you are the moron. Abso-freaking-lutely. Yeah, and
again, sorry.
Shout out, William. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Go ahead. You can speak into that, Jez.
Yeah, so the white one, not the X, but the white one that he's speaking about, that's that price. That one has a chip in it that is about equivalent or weaker than the Steam Deck. It was supposed to be in the Steam Deck. It's not even a next generation chip from the previous one. So it's actually weaker than the ROG Ally Z1, the first one that came out 2 years ago. That chip, first off, that's a weaker chip. The Gaming Gandalf said it's for 720p gaming on the go, but the thing has a 1080p 120 hertz screen. Makes no sense. And then it doesn't have adaptive triggers. It has a 60 watt-hour battery, which is about equivalent to what I think it's in between, because the other ones have 45 watts or something like that. This one has a 60 watt. So this one has a lower wattage battery, which gives you less gaming time, and it is $560. You're better off buying one of the last gen Zen 2, either Legion Go's, Asus ROG Ally, the original one, or one of those. I think it may even be more powerful than the Z2 Go chip that was in the Legion Go earlier this year that everybody trashed on. I think that chip is more powerful than the chip that they're putting in that ROG Ally. The thing is I follow a lot of other gaming websites and that follow these handhelds, and they are not impressed with the Z2 Extreme Performance, the new chip. Knowing that this is not a new chip, it's just the evolved, more efficiency chip of the one that's already in the original ROG, and he thinks it's a ripoff that they're charging $1,000 or $900 for a Z2 Extreme when it's not a generational leap, but for the Z1. And I don't know how Asus is going to price this, if they're going to take their ROG Ally X of last year and put it at $800, and keep this one at $900, because they still never dropped the price of the one they released last year, which has the Z1 chip, and this one has the Z2. But one of the things that showed up today that nobody really is really highlighting, and I'm going to do a video on this thing, but the software that's supposed to be revolutionary, that button, what they've been working on in the background, Mister I think thought he was going to do. I can't believe how lazy it is. And if you look at all the words that they put in the document, they're putting updates will follow at launch features. They're starting that shit already where this thing is going to be in beta. If you look at what the Xbox button does, all it does is boot the Xbox Game Bar, which you could do that right now. Thrifty, you plug in your Xbox controller, hit that Xbox button, Game Bar pops up.
Yeah.
That's it. This app, what it does, and I was telling the guys this earlier before you went live, was that when I watched, Windows Central did a video and they just went through with all the features on it. When you boot into the computer, the handheld, she said that it like doesn't load in some apps like the full Windows desktop, like maybe shortcuts and the taskbar. So there's some processes that it doesn't do. And it takes you into the full screen experience. If you look at the full screen experience, it basically is just the Xbox app. It doesn't transform it like Steam OS does. It basically just does the same Xbox app. Then you could go right into Windows Desktop. So it's running Windows. This is not a separate partition, a separate OS. This is just an application splash screen. When you go into desktop mode and then go back into the Windows app, it asks you if you want to go into optimize mode. And it says if you did do that, we have to restart the computer to do this. If you just want to jump back in, you could do it, but it won't be optimized. So what it sounds like is that they are making the app turn off some startup processes. Like you could do manually, like to turn off these startup applications, like NVIDIA GeForce opens up all the time. Like, nah, don't let that boot up. So it looks like, and so like it gives you the option to restart the computer going back into the OS, into the Xbox app. And also when you hold the Xbox button, it basically is a shortcut for Alt-Tab. That's all it's doing. It gives you a little visual, like it makes it look like it's switching apps, but all it is just app Alt-Tab. Like you're just tabbing through open applications. And what they're not being honest about when they're talking about like Discord and stuff like that, that those are not control or optimized. Like when you go into Windows, when you want to do Discord on this thing, you got to go into Discord desktop app and start touching screens. And I'm going to go through the video when I do it on my show. But if you watch the experience, the guy takes his hand off the controls and touches the screen to hit X buttons, to get back out of apps. It's the same bullshit that's going on right now. They did nothing to optimize anything, and I knew they weren't, because Windows is a beast, and this is just an overlay, and nobody's going to let them change Windows. Windows is going to be the same fuck shit that it is. And they convinced people that they were doing something different. We worked the closest we've ever done with the Windows team. Dude, they haven't done shit. It is the laziest thing, and I can't believe now that we're finally seeing it. And when I listened to the guy that covers this, he said he sat and asked them questions that they couldn't answer. We don't know yet, because they don't know. Dude, this is I'm telling you, this thing is going to be
there was a lot of that shit
ridiculous.
Today. There was
craziness.
So the past 2 days, and this is going to... So I skipped our intro topic for tonight, and I really want to get to it because it's really, really good. It's basically what game, if you ever had the opportunity to, would you want to play again, but for the first time ever? So, great topic. Wanted to get into that. But we got a super chat. It's Josh Ayers, member of 15 months. 15 months. Holy fuck. Great work, Thrifty and panel. Hit all the buttons, chat. Thank you, Josh. You were like the third or fourth person to sign up on a membership. So really appreciate that. Thank you so, so much. If anybody else in here has some member milestone chats, y'all can absolutely do those. Those
I have one. I didn't even
are
do
awesome. Okay. So this to me... So Jeffrey Smith came in, and by the way, welcome. Never seen you in here. Welcome to the Gaming Den. He said during the stream they asked to see Gears run on the Ally X. They opened the game and never did a damn thing with it. No, he didn't say that.
Yeah.
I added that last part. He said they never showed the game running.
No, he's
but,
right.
Like, he's absolutely right.
Dude, it was still booting up. Like she left the app. And then when she came back, it was still booting up. Like it was just. Oh my god, this thing is so. Dude, this is such a ruse, and it's crazy. And these people going out there glazed, they're holding it. Man, it is such a. And yeah,
did you hear the pot shot at PlayStation? Did you hear the shot at PlayStation?
No, I
Oh,
didn't.
it was so good. He holds it and he's talking about the form and function and design of it. And he's like, it has the same kind of handles as the Xbox controller, so it just kind of sits right in the palm. The weight distribution, and he goes, it's much more complex than just cutting a controller in half and putting a screen in the middle. And I was like, man, kiss my ass, bro. Like,
that controller cut in half with a screen in the middle is going to sell more units than this damn thing ever will.
This is no shit. Like, Will, what you got, man? You've been
real.
Man.
No, like I was telling Jeff, I was at work and I put it on. I was nodding in my chair. I was like, I need to get the fuck up because I got customers walking. I can't be look like a drug addict. That's how fucking boring this shit was. They didn't give us anything new. They just regurgitated the same shit that they fucking said last time while mixing more fluff in. So I'm actually leaving this thing way more confused than I was. And look, I'm a gamer. I don't give a fuck if I game on Xbox, PlayStation. I game where the games are.
Sure.
I am tired of, including PlayStation, talking about hardware when we ain't got the fucking games. I want my games. Give me those, and then we'll talk about spending $1 million on your next quote-unquote high-tech fucking bullshit hardware that allows me to play that. I've been saying, I said this last time, I just said this last night to Wara. There are people out there who gas up a game, right? Oh, this is the best game ever, man. I highly recommend it. And then you go play the game, but the controls suck ass. Well, guess what? The game sucks ass too, because the controller is the medium that allows you to enjoy that game. And if the controls suck ass, it really knocks down from the beautiful creativeness that game is.
Dude, controls and camera will kill a game so fast. Go ahead.
The Rog Ally is the same exact shit. If I have to wait 1 million minutes to load up and play my game, I don't give a shit how many pieces of sand they had to melt to make that stupid glass on there. I don't care how many.
It's the same glass.
Yeah, no,
the bezels too. It's the same one that's on the Rog.
I just don't care enough to input anything more than give me the damn games, Xbox and PlayStation, and stop fluffing us. That's all you've been doing this whole generation while charging us more.
Yeah, I agree to an extent, but I would challenge you on the fact that there's no games. Like, there are so many awesome games out there.
Well, no, I'm talking first party. When I say no games, it's first party.
Yeah, you've got to clarify it.
Because I mean,
throw out a blanket statement and say there's no games because there's fucking millions of them.
Well, you gotta.
To be fair, the first parties have shat the bed. I'll agree with that. No dramas. They have shat the bed because they are chasing it too hard to be at the pinnacle.
Yeah.
The second tier are absolutely killing it because they're not chasing photorealism. They're not chasing all these mechanics that no one wants to use. They're just producing games that people like to play. And that's where the platform holders are getting done over by these tier 2. They're non-platform holders, but even the big publishers are getting screwed over by it as well. Look at how good some of these tier 2 games are doing. Look at Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That thing is brilliant. But would we have Claire Obscurian 33? Another brilliant game. Like, there's dozens of them that'll be in that conversation that are just absolutely walking the dog with these first-party studios. Because the first-party studios are too busy looking at their own belly buttons, wondering how they're going to find a way to make some kind of fuckery happen to make themselves feel important because they work for a platform holder.
Well, and also, Faulky, to clarify something too, I'm not your average gamer, right? I'm not like the regular dude who comes home, plays a couple hours a week, whatever. No, I beat between 50 to 100 games a year. All right? I don't watch movies. I don't watch TV shows. Any free time that I have, I'm playing video games. So just imagine how much more, I don't know what the word is, but patience I have when I go through games like a freaking Cookie Monster, right? So it's fucking ridiculous. I mean, I in the beginning of the podcast I talked about I'm playing Crime Scene Simulator, I forget the other games, Sand, the one that Sword of the Sea, the Rogue Prince of Persia, and that's not even including Dead Island 2, which I'm replaying for the third time, right? Oni Chambara that I'm replaying for the second time, Sleeping Dogs that I'm also replaying for the second time.
That game is so good.
It is really good.
Oh, it's brilliant.
But yeah, it feels like they've hit this pinnacle of today where pricing is going up on everything, that they're trying to take advantage of the situation, and they're saying, well, we can also make money on the hardware side, so let's come up with bullshit and see how far we can push it before people start to catch on that the next game we're going to release is 5 years from now.
Yeah, it's rubbish. But the reason I pulled you up on that is to and you've answered it very eloquently, is to illustrate the point that you was doing that. I know you play heaps of games. I love playing indie games because they fit in well. I don't have these massive, big, 150, 200 plus hour commitments. And I like the magic that the indie games still bring, and those AA games. I couldn't, they are not needing 144 hertz, 4K bloody monsters to play these things. I quite easily play these things on a $250, $300 US second-hand PS5 or a second-hand Xbox Series X. I can do that, and I can get one and play it and enjoy it. I don't need a $1,000 handheld that may or may not play these things, because that's not where I'm going to enjoy it. I don't see why they think producing these devices gets you into that realm and expecting that people are just going to pick them up. Again, there's no first-party games driving this. There's no first-party games that drive a Portal.
No.
Or a PS Portal. There's no first-party games driving that. The only business that's got first-party games driving to get something like these handhelds is Nintendo. But you can plug that into a TV at a price point that is really accessible. But the sheer volume of hardware that's now out there as an option is only chewing into each other's margins and chewing into each other's areas. Premium handheld PC market, 6 million plus, I think, is the maximum across all of them, and the Steam Deck's responsible for 4 million of that. It's a nothing event market.
For them, this is a transition.
They just don't have the games to support it.
This is, for them, this is a transition device. I don't think that they think that this thing is gonna. First off, it's not even, they don't even care about selling this thing, because it's not their, it's not even their I don't even know if it'll affect like their hardware, if they count it as part of their hardware or the OEM hardware, what the hell they do. But the thing is with this is that this is a transition device, and what they're trying to do is get people, they want out of the console space and they want to move people to the PC, because then they're already seeing that the support that they're getting for their console, the developers are taking more time, the developers are skipping some of the things. They got it. They're losing what they had in early Xbox when they had the kind of mind share for developers. Now they're realizing that instead of doing all that stuff, it's not moving our consoles. PC is by de facto, but if they could do PC but also use our store and our features, our cloud, our Xbox Play Anywhere, things like that, that's kind of what they want to do. They want to be the tools for the developers, and that's what this thing is. This thing is trying to make. It's too late, because Steam OS already and Steam Big Picture already do light years. Steam Big Picture by itself does more of consolifying the PC than this Windows app does. They're just trying to get you up front. It's almost like Internet Explorer being there up front. Say, use us as a browser before you go, Edge, before you go download Chrome. This is what they're doing with this Xbox app. They're trying to make this be the front where they could sell you Game Pass, they could sell you this kind of stuff up front, but yeah, they could also install Steam. And they're just trying to make this, and again, they're just trying to transition people for Xbox. And I think there's a lot of noise for this device, because Microsoft just keeps talking about it, but I think when you see the reality of it, not a lot of people are going to be buying this, especially if they already have the small handheld market, unless they trade up for this. But I think the difference is going to be is that when your ETA primes and your people that do your PC, because remember now, this is not Digital Foundry playing on a console. You're going to have PC people doing PC things to this thing. And when they start comparing them to other handhelds and other PC hardware, they're going to show you that the price to performance of this device is not there, and that's not going to make people upgrade. It's the difference now. You're in a PC world now. This is not a fixed console versus console. Let's just run it through our computer. This is basically like, let's compare this directly to this. You've seen it with Steam OS versus the Windows, just by putting the operating system, a different operating system on the same hardware, gave more performance and more battery life. You're going to get PC things done to this thing, and they're going to tear it apart. They already are with their experiences of handheld right now. There's not a lot of hype on the handheld PC people. This is not doing it. It's basically an Xbox button on on hardware that is not as new as it should be.
Just to cap off on my point, to clarify, I completely agree with you, Will. That is too much hardware and requesting us to spend more money on hardware, and we're not getting games to support that request. I just want to make that clear. I don't want you to think that I'm arguing against you. I completely agree.
No, I know. And just to add on to that, and I think this is the beautiful, what I'm about to say next, I think this is going to wake up a lot of people, and I hope it does, because while these big, PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, and the whole just PC in general, while they're out here going after each other's throat with who can produce the most hardware, they are leaving so much opportunity on the table. And every single, I don't want to say every week because it's not that many, but I want to say just over the last year or two, I have seen 3 different indie publishing companies pop up. One of the newer ones is called Lost in Cult. They're taking it a step further. What they're doing is they're reprinting indie titles that never got a physical copy. Some have, most didn't. And they're making it super niche, where they're gathering art from pre-production, where they're getting interviews from the director, where they're getting notes from the creative process of the game, and they're selling you a physical game bundle package that's very personalized. So we're seeing super rare games, limited run games. I don't care how many people hate them, they're doing incredible. These guys, yeah, so do I. They're releasing Shinobi day and date along with Amazon, Best Buy, Target. So these smaller indies, or smaller companies that are publishing these indie titles, they're just having a great old ball making all this money selling what? Games. And appreciate that for a second, because I just got my copy of Laika Age Through Blood. 5,000 of them were made for the PS5. 5,000 of them were made for the Nintendo Switch. I actually have a video coming up next week, so you guys are getting early freaking access to this information. But that's where I'm going. That's where my money's going. I don't give a shit about the ROG Ally X. I don't really give a shit about the PS6, because I'm more focused on getting my games from the people who are supplying them.
Yeah, and
Well said.
that was
Well said.
Yeah, very well said. And that, you mentioned limited run games. That was actually one of the highlights for me of the opening night live, was that limited run games had their name plastered after one of the trailers. And I thought that was so cool, because up to this point, if you only knew about limited run games, if A, somebody in the gaming community told you about it, or B, you were really, really just enthusiastic about getting that physical copy and you researched it yourself. It wasn't something that was like the general casual gamer knows that, hey, if a game says digital only, you might be able to still find a copy on limited run games. And so, like,
and we're getting more and more of that.
It's so cool that they're actually starting to get that exposure, even though the entire show was a snooze fest. That was a really cool moment in it, was to see their name.
Vent about that show.
Well, so that is actually the next topic, but let me get to something real quick in here, because somebody brought up a really good point. Okay, so I have 2 things. 1, Wara has a question directed at Faulky. 2, J Shep brought in another question, and I really want to kind of get, or not a question, but like just his own thoughts on what we've been talking about. So, first, Wara said, Thrifty, can you ask David what games have you avoided this gen because they are over 100 hours to complete? Because I don't know what games he is referring to that require 100 to 200 hours to finish. And so, Faulky, I'll let you respond to that if you would like.
Right, so I haven't played Persona 5 Royal.
Okay.
I haven't played Metaphor ReFantasio yet.
That's fair.
I haven't played Returnal, because that thing is just a loop that'll continue.
Depending on how good you
there's a
are,
heap
and I
of them.
suck. So go ahead.
Yeah. There's, it's a FromSoft game that came out recently.
Night Rain.
Night Rain.
No, White Rain's the expansion for it. I can't remember
Elden
its
Ring?
name.
Elden Ring.
I haven't played Elden Ring. I haven't played Starfield. I haven't played. There's so many games that I haven't touched. Because their minimum, like you look up their time to complete just the main piece on them is 60, 70 hours.
Especially all those loading screens in Starfield.
Oh yeah. There's a heap of JRPGs because I love playing JRPGs, but there's a heap of them that I'm just like, I don't have 100, 120, 140 hours to sink into this thing. It'll take me 6 months to finish it. So.
Speaking of that, we have breaking news given to us from Josh in the Discord. And I have to cover this right now because this is my next game that I'm getting in between. I decided to support this game even if I can't play it day one because it's in between a super busy gaming season. But Trails in the Sky FC, here we go. Let's look at this because this is really cool. I like it, and here it is. So Trails in the Sky FC adds Switch 2 version prologue demo now, or adds Switch 2 version, cool. Prologue demo now available for PS5, Switch, and PC. This was posted literally just a few minutes ago. That is awesome. And I say a few, it was about 30.
Where's the box?
Where's the box? Well, let's see. We have the internet. We can do these things.
What about the box? Is that skip?
It looks like it. Well, hang on. Let's do Control F. Xbox?
Gotta be on the.
It's 1 for 9. So let's see where they see. Okay, the title has an Xbox in it. Or like one of the headings is Xbox. Oh, the ad over here says Xbox. The bottom couple articles are for the Xbox. We have another tag in here for the Xbox Series. More tags, more
So it's
articles.
on Xbox?
No, it's not on Xbox. Those were all just advertisements on the website. No, the actual article doesn't have anything about Xbox.
Oh, man. Phil Spencer. But buy more hardware from
Yeah, so I know that the rest of the panel might not give a flying rat's ass about this, but I am super excited, and this will probably end up being, if it's like the other Trails, it'll probably end up being another 100-hour game. We have it on good authority from Creative Kofi that anytime you want to play a Trails game, only do one a year, because they will take you roughly about an hour, about 100 hours to complete. Just an hour. It's shorter than Hellblade, but just give it some time, get into it. I want to purchase it day one for the simple, stupid, shilling fact that I want the devs to keep going with these. And so I want to let them know, hey...
What number is this on?
This is 1. This is the first one. Okay. This is the very first Trails game from what I understand. This is where everything starts. And so it's remastered, it's redone, it's re-this, it's re-that. And I'm freaking excited because the first one that we had access to, if you didn't have an older system, was Trails from Zero. That was the very first one, and you missed the whole Trails in the Sky saga, which kind of sets everything in motion. And so, really excited about it, and I've been watching it. So shout out to Josh for that. So, anyways, we got derailed. We've been here for an hour. Hit the like button. You'll never see this panel here again. The stars lined up, and we got all the heavy hitters here tonight. So, with that being said, let's get on to something that was not a heavy hitter. Which was Gamescom. I don't even have an article for it because that thing sucked ass. The whole thing. It was awkward. As a matter of fact, almost every single presentation I saw, except for Future Game Show, was awkward as hell. Like, they would ask questions, then they would sit there and look at each other for like 10 seconds, and then somebody would finally answer the question with like some half-assed response. I'm like, what in the... They're not even ready. Like, they're not... This seems like it wasn't planned, like it was thrown together, like, yo, dude, you're going to go out there and talk to this guy. Okay, cool.
On stage.
Sweet. What's he going to ask? We don't know. What do I say? We don't know. Okay, Cool. So it's like two friends who don't know each other that y'all are trying to get to meet. When they meet, they're like, hey. Well, hey. Cool. Yeah. How are you? I'm fine. Like it felt like it felt like that level of awkward. Like
Keely, man, he's awkward as hell.
God, he was so freaking bad. And then even the Xbox, then when they were talking about the ROG Ally, and then they were talking about oh crap, what the hell were they talking about afterwards? Oh, the Indiana Jones stuff. And I was like, this feels like they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. This feels weird. Everything just felt awkward. And so combine that with the fact that the games that they were showing were meh, and there were only a couple highlights, and that was about it. Everything else looked very samey. I actually made a note because I already said that I was having a chit chat with Wara and Josh last night, and this was one of the things that I wanted to talk about today. Because Jez, you mentioned it in your stream, and a lot of the live service titles, and I mean a lot of them, are all looking the same now. Even my son was watching me play something, and almost every game that has a cartoony cell shade look to it, he goes, Dad, why does that look like Genshin Impact? I know it's not.
Yeah, right.
But why does it look like? And he's asked me that like 3 different times about some indie titles, some of the roguelikes that I've been trying out because of the art direction. He's asked me that. Even the new game that we just talked about, so Sword of the Sea. Like even that one, he was like, Dad, this looks almost like it could be like a game in Genshin, like a side game. And I'm like, what? No, but it's because it's that animated look, that kind of shiny animation that gets put on these things, and a lot of stuff is starting to look the same. And so I just noticed that during the show, and that was my greatest takeaway from Gamescom. I didn't really, like, Ghost of Yotei doesn't have to sell me. I'm already getting it. Lost Soul Aside, I'm already buying it. It's already pre-ordered. Like, I don't need to be sold on some of the things they showed. And, like, the Call of Duty thing was bullshit. That was awful.
Oh, my God.
That was so bad. And they're taking notice. That's another topic for tonight. But those are my thoughts on it. And we will talk, let's see. I'm wondering who's going to have the greatest rant on this one. You know what, Jez, as the guy with the most subscribers here, you get to go first on this one.
Dude. I did put the 3 hours watching that boring ass crap.
Did.
I played my video from the night before, looking at a drunk Pactor, because
you so did.
I could not watch it anymore. It was somebody, and that was crazy. Somebody in my chat, I tell you, the internet does not miss. They told me about the one trailer while showing Pacta. I missed one trailer to a certain game, and they're like, "You missed the one trailer." I'm like, "Dude, I sat there for 2 hours." When Jeff Keighley's like, "We got 2 hours." Listen, and again, I don't think it has to do with games. It has to do with Keighley. His recipe sucks. His show is not good. And I was saying in my stream, when you look at the size of that crowd, that is a gaming crowd. That is the industry. That is like fans.
Sure.
Those people should be, you look at any other convention, an anime convention, a Comic-Con, when they're sitting on those panels, man, they show people a little clip. They go crazy. How are these people dead silent with these games being announced and shown? It's because it's the games that he has. He brings you there with the bait of a couple of games like the Resident Evil or a Sony game or some other stuff, and he uses that as the carrot and then fills it with waifu bullshit service, free-to-play commercials, wipe your ass with new toilet paper. It's ridiculous that he fills it with just stuff that... Like I said, it really didn't make sense. It's mishmash. And I don't like how there was one that says this is not a game, and it wound up being a commercial for Gamescom. I'm like, what the hell is this shit? And I don't like that they do that, where they show a trailer and then they show commercials of trailers of this new game announcements. I don't know what they're doing, but he tricks you in thinking that this is a commercial break, but it's really showing trailers. And then they go into his thing, and the interviews on stage are a waste of time. Like you said, they're awkward as hell. You show the game, you move on. You don't bring people on stage and start asking about it, and they're talking about the game unless they're adding new content to what I already saw. It is not very impactful. That is a behind the scenes post show that you want to sit down and talk more about what we saw. You don't do that on the stage in front of all those people. That is, unless you want to do a panel, that is not the thing. And I think the format, he just all he did was regurgitate the Game Awards, and even that's getting dry as hell. It's really, Keighley needs to be stopped. And I can't believe that this piece of shit gaming industry can't get the balls to put on a proper fucking show for the fans that fund it. And I look at Gamescom and I go, what a disgrace E3 is that we can't do proper shit and do what fans want. They got conventions for goddamn old-ass toys that people go line up for, but we can't get a proper convention and proper showmanship of the gaming entertainment industry, as big as it is, as varied as it is, as ubiquitous across the globe as it is. Why can't we just get something that makes sense for the fans and not for the goddamn fucking business people? Because that's what I feel like we're seeing. All this business people bullshit. Like, Keighley's just doing a show so he could fill seats and get money from the people sitting in those chairs, because he charges for a 2-hour show and you want to sit there, so he has to drag that shit out with the bullshit that he got. And then he comes in, he goes, oh, but wait, I got that Resident Evil. No wonder that motherfucker showed it at the last thing. He knows that's what everybody, that's the only time the crowd got loud, was the last 15 minutes with Ghost of Yote, the Resident Evil. Like, they know what they're there for. The rest of it was a snore fest.
Yep.
Like, it just drives me crazy. And I'm disgraced at the United States and E3 and the ESA and those fuckers, but not making E3 what it should be, and looking at Gamescom is what it is. And why did it fail here in America when it is doing that? Tokyo Game Show's cooking. Why do those conventions in other countries able to do that, but we can't get our shit together in the USA to get the proper gaming convention, one of the biggest gaming markets, and we sit there with a thumb in our ass and have Keighley do a summer smuggling grapes fest? Like,
well, Jess,
that's what
it's
we got.
Same reason. It's the same fucking reason why price is going up, why they're pushing the Rog Ally. It's the same exact reason. Fucking greed. You have these motherfuckers who are
corporate greed.
Yes. Talentless fucking studios showing up, which is the big fucking AAA fucks who think that because it's Activision or EA or whatever their fucking name is that's big, that fucking has a huge IP, just because they slap on that name on a game is automatically good, it automatically sells. And these conventions are nothing more than an excuse for these people to fly out there and go on vacation. Literally, that's what they fucking do. Oh, yeah. They're not pushing nothing. They're not pushing no fucking games.
Or content for their channels.
More content for their channels. They hardly even talk to the damn fans while they're there. Yeah. How many of these fucking people did you see talking to gamers? Not one, because they know if any fucking
influences
each and every one, and even the people that get the VIP tickets that are the quote unquote fans or gamers, they're all YouTubers. They're all, social media people. So you're not going to get the right, and same thing goes with the journalists. It's all one big ball of shit, right? Yep. You have journalists that don't play games going to an event that doesn't really have games, talking about games that nobody fucking plays. And it just blows my mind. And like I said, with anything in video games, it's our fault. We click on this shit. We go to these YouTube. We read these journalist articles. Even if we fucking, read them to make fun of them, we give them that click.
Dude, the websites were running with the goddamn Cory Balrog fake Facebook post.
Oh my god! Like, I'm so tired of that shit. Like,
it was news. Nobody checks.
I just have no idea. And look, for those of you guys that don't know me, I actually like these shows. Like, I'm a big fan of them. Like, when the Video Game Awards comes around, I literally block out my whole fucking day. I try to leave work an hour too early, knowing damn well the show don't start for another 2 hours. I like make sure all my chores are ready. My snack. I never cook because then that involves cleaning, and I don't got time for that. So I usually get some pizza, whatever.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a pizza night for you and your boy.
It's like an event. It's like the Super Bowl for me. So I love these things, right? I'm the type, show all the commercials you want,
man,
do all the world premieres,
with
do
the
it.
Conferences, yeah.
But this has been ridiculous, and Jeff is just looking to sell slots. That's it.
Yep.
And the only people that can afford the slots are the big money people, unfortunately. You know, because by day 3, nobody's really watching fucking Gamescom.
But didn't he try to take that criticism and he made a lot of indies in the show and the Game Awards? Like, it was an indie show. Like, he emphasized that he was trying to do that stuff. But he charges like Super Bowl ad money.
Super Bowl ad money. So even though he tried to make it indie, you know, an indie show, only the upper echelon of indie people can get in. And yeah, we got a couple of the super small guys, and you can tell who they were because they were up there dressed raggedy. You know, they were really talking about the game like how they normally should. But the last thing that I'll say about this show and Jeff is that this has all been driven. And by the way, this is how these studios and publishers like it to be. They like it like this because as a CEO or not a CFO, but an upper person or C-suite executive, they feel like, well, if I'm spending $100,000 for a 2-minute ad, I'm doing something. Right? That's the way they fucking think. These are the people that look at reports and they focus on reports nonstop instead of understanding that reports are just the effect of the thing that already happened. That's all the report fucking does for you. But they're so focused on that they think that, hey, I'm gonna spend $250,000. That's good for the business. We're getting more eyes. They look at this shit as a post on X. We got 100,000 views. That means that translates to 20% acceptance rate. That means we should sell about 10,000 of the game. It just doesn't work like that.
I can't. Yeah. And the thing what gets me, and Jeff, I think he jumped into an opportunity. ESA got their thumb in their ass. And he jumped into a space, and now he has created that it's just his show, and he's the one that gets all these breaks and stuff like that. So right now, he's just a one-man wrecking crew right now, filling in the thing. And at first, I was like, oh, at least he's doing it. Yeah, there's no competition. And you know what? And this is another thing. And people are they're gonna be like, how's he saying this? He must be drunk. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. Xbox, what they do at these shows, the Gamescom, and do a booth and stuff, I give them credit for keeping that shit alive. I think Sony is a fucking disgrace for not doing the same shit and for their brand and their stuff that they got. They are the biggest console with all these games and all these partnerships and all the China Hero Project. Get a fucking booth and do your shit. I know Microsoft, they're not showing, they do a lot of lying and a lot of bullshit, but the one thing they do right is that they have their games there. They talk about stuff, they talk to the devs, they keep that shit alive, that convention stuff at Gamescom at least. And they try to do as much as they could in the US. And I give them a lot of credit for trying to keep that convention shit alive. When Sony took their fucking money, took their tail between their legs and ran away and never filled in that gap. And I'm going to tell you another thing. Fuck those state of plays, because that does not have the same effect as getting people to get hands-on, talk about your game, share gameplay, play the game, and talking about your games and celebrate gaming. And the fact that Sony is finally going to Tokyo Game Show, but who the hell knows what they're going to do there, but they should be at these things and be there. Like the fact that they don't have any talking about all the games, showing games, and they go, oh yeah, well, we're gonna have an announcement. Let's increase the fucking prices of the console. That's a great time to do it. You got old Gamescom people playing games, celebrating games, and it's like, oh yeah, well, we're not there, but we got an announcement for you. And I think it's a disgrace that they save their money and they do not do these things. And I know E3 was a shit show, but the fact that they're still going on and they're not there with they announced new headphones. The Sony H2s, what the fuck. Like, get your ass to those conventions and get people on them. Like, that's how you get exposure and shit. And I think
that's how you build that. That's how you build that core You know, because
Yeah.
and you know, I've been saying this for such a long time, Jess, but people every time I talk negative about PlayStation, people fucking attack me, right? They don't fucking like it when I fucking talk about the thing that they love the most. But I'm over here thinking, if you love it so fucking much, you should be the one criticizing it the most. Fuck you
They're
mean
not
you want
even
it to
at-
be better?
Yo, Josh, they're not even at fucking PAX. I used to go to PAX East. They had a booth. I played Detroit Become Human. They had
Yeah.
a whole thing. I played Days Gone. They
Ain't
had,
been
I
there.
was posing on the goddamn fighting with the bear, posing on the motorcycle. They had shirts for Days Gone. They had caps for Days Gone. And I went there with a group of like my cousins and stuff, and they didn't even know what Days Gone was. And we played hands-on. We waited, played the demo, and dude, they were buying that game Days Gone. Sony had a crazy booth. They had all VR booths at PAX East. They're not even there anymore. It's like it is, and Microsoft, they used to have them right next to each other. Like Xbox was at PAX East before Sony got there. When Sony got there, it was almost like a mini E3 when I got there, like in 20. And I know COVID destroyed everything and trying to come back, but they don't go to any conventions anymore. They don't do anything.
They're too big now. They're too cool. They're the default
They used to
winner.
have crazy swag and incredible stores, and the games and the booths were it was incredible at PAX, not even E3. And the fact that they don't have anything, and they're one of the biggest, like they got so much, like I don't know, man. It's just ridiculous that we're not getting this stuff here because I think if there was more unified from the publishers themselves on how to share news, we wouldn't get fed all this bullshit from influences and rumors and all this other stuff. It will squash all that because they will control the messaging. Right now, it's a shit show of what's real, what's not. We got news on a Tuesday that was denied on a Wednesday. Like, there's no uniformed information for gaming. It's a disaster because these publishers just let this shit happen, and they did not give, like, E3 was when we got our news, and that's when we got our stuff, and it was like the holiday stuff. Now, like, these state of plays, they're not routine. They're not once a quarter. They're not once a month. It's random. It's like, oh, we got one next week. Oh, it's gonna be like one game. It's like, oh fuck, like okay.
Whoever the highest bidder can be for that fucking state of play, they'll might do a third party, but they don't even do showcases anymore. They don't they're not involved. They decided to just step away from it all and just soak in that third party money and that fucking default console money and ride it out.
Yeah, exactly.
And keep gambling on the live service. All Sony's doing, collecting all the money they can get, going to the liquor store, buying all the scratch offs they can get, hoping to hit it big. They lose, fuck it. We'll be back next payday and do the same shit over and over and
over. So speaking of hitting it big, real quick, I've let y'all keep going because that was a great conversation.
Sorry, yeah,
no, you are great.
Yeah.
Stephen Leon.
The news sucks right now.
It does. But Stephen Leon did something that doesn't suck. He gave a 20-member bomb. Holy crap. So Warawana, Woods 76, Nelson Gaming Culture, Lunchi Sky, Alan TV, Marty McFly, Priscilla T, James Williams, Kashaprit Bagri, I say that wrong every time, David Maniolis, Corey Massey, Chris Coleman, NZ Gamer 187, Shomisham, Zero Steel, Chad Stud, Hai Kobayashi, there we go, Ken Kniff, F86, Cuz, and I think that is everything. Holy crud, thank you so much, Steven. I really appreciate it. I almost said William because I was looking at William's comment down below. And then Hero with the member for 14 months. Sony is becoming a console monopoly, and within a decade, we will all regret this. I regret a little bit of it now. But not fully. And that's probably hyperbole. Okay, so, Faulky, you have not...
Oh, I'm sorry. I have the one thing. Like, I'm sorry. The thing is like when I was talking about the whole Jeff Keighley show, like the hype for what he does with the Sony games, it just shows that they have the stuff that would get people excited, and they are just not there to show it. Like that's the thing. Like,
Jeff, or I mean,
that's what I was saying. That's why I just wanted to wrap it up. Like what I was trying to say.
I'm gonna wrap it up soon. I'm sorry, Jess, or Faulky, but I just want to remind you guys. Who is the only show from anywhere that doesn't matter if you're an Xbox guy or whatever, It's a PlayStation showcase. Whenever that comes on, you see it stops. The whole gaming industry shuts down and pays attention. And the people that talk shit the most, like I remember Young Yao going on a big rant a few years ago about PlayStation, and the next day the state of play happened, he was fucking smiling, cheering, super fucking happy. Only PlayStation has that effect, and that's why it sucks so hard.
Yep.
Sorry,
and
I'll
look
let
at
you
the
guys talk
Marvel
now.
and the Marvel token, like the Marvel token game
Yeah.
that had people
Oh.
shitting their pants.
Oh,
Yeah.
speaking of that, I
We
need to
won't-
see if I got approved for the
Anyway.
beta. Have they sent out? I need to know if they've sent out that email yet.
Nah, I didn't get it.
Me neither.
It's like they got whatever it wants and they're not there. Like it's just, oh my god, it's just annoying.
So, Faulky, you have not given your input on this. Do you have any additional input on this? Are you there?
Oh shit, we chased him away. Oh, sorry.
Damn.
He said
went
he can
on
deal
our
with. He
rants.
can usually deal with one American, but now we have three, and he's like, that's way too damn many. He is out.
Too many ranting Americans.
All right. Well, okay. So I'm going to assume that he has stepped away for a second, which does sometimes happen.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
I can
Oh,
hear
there
you
you are.
now.
No.
Yeah, sorry, we thought we
Good.
scheduled away with the yelling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the
No, no,
yelling
no,
and
it's all
shit.
good. I had
Like
my
these Americans.
my Discord decided to put me on mute. I must have pressed the button. I've got plenty of thoughts, plenty of opinions, plenty to say on the topic, plus the comments just made by Jez and Will. I am going to challenge one thing that was said, and I
dare you.
accept. I accept.
No.
Well, I accept the point that Sony and PlayStation has basically just given up on attending conventions in the US. I'll go that far, and they are basically doing it by the numbers in the boardroom. I'll go to that extent, but I will point out PlayStation has paid for the entire independent and AA floor spaces at Tokyo Game Show, Taipei Game Show, Brazil Game Show, PAX East, PAX Australia, PAX West, PAX Europe, and a dozen other conventions that they don't attend, but they pay for the access for indie games and AA games developers for the whole set. So instead of them spending their money to show up and show a half a dozen things that they may or may not have, because let's be honest, PlayStation doesn't exactly have much to show us, do they? Instead of paying and showing up and basically saying, here's the same thing we showed you last time, here's the same thing we showed you last time, and doing that dance, because they just got nothing coming down the pipeline, they're investing the money in the area that actually makes them money, which is indies and AA's, and those relationships. PlayStation invests a huge amount of money in their partnerships rather than show up to these conventions like Keighley's shows and pay stupid amounts of money to get 30 seconds in the set. The shows need
they could run
PlayStation
circles
more than the
around people.
PlayStation needs the shows in that respect. But that's outside of the US. Inside the US is a completely different story. PlayStation shat the bed this generation horribly inside the US, and they still can't get the damn thing working properly. It's costing them an absolute bomb, and I'm actually surprised all those studios are still operating inside the US. But that issue aside, I also don't like the way that Keighley commercializes his shows, because there's a void there, there's a power vacuum. He's got the opportunity, took the opportunity, good on him. TGA Awards, Gamescom, all these shows that Keighley's involved, it's an advertising fest. All he's doing is selling advertising. Hey, we want to know what's coming, but we don't need a 2.5 hour fucking ad after ad after ad and gap filled with people who show up on stage where he's just basically flexing, hey, look, I can talk to this person and you can't. I don't care what celebrity you've got walking out to mumble their way through some endorsement. Couldn't give a rat's ass about it. I haven't
Al
watched
Pacino
most
one
of
year.
these things. Like, what you wheel out Kojima because you want him to
No, Al
stroke on about
Pacino, not
games?
Kojima.
Like,
Al Pacino.
Al
was like
Pacino.
senile.
oh,
The actor Al
What?
Pacino, yeah.
Al Pacino didn't know where the hell he was.
He didn't know where he
Yeah.
was, but he was there. He was like, I got Al Pacino.
it's amateur hour when that stuff happens. Like it's ridiculous. It's dull. It's frustrating, and it might be one or two things to show. And fair enough that the state of plays and the other showcases, and it's not just with PlayStation. Nintendo does it as well. Xbox doesn't do it as much as the other ones do, but the timing of them is random.
Yes,
They give us very
that's
short
the
lead
biggest
notices that it's happening. That's a byproduct of Sony getting slapped for long announcement times. Where's the damn game at? It's taking too long. Oh, they've got a delay now. So, you know, it's the Last of Us 2 syndrome. They delayed it for 3 weeks and had the whole thing dumped on them. And they are terrified of that happening again. But that's an excuse, but that's not a good enough excuse to basically abandon showing us stuff at these larger conventions. Shows not so much, but the conventions are the ones where they're funding a lot of it, but they're not showing up and talking about stuff like they used to in front of the fans. They do all of it behind the scenes. That's a pain in the ass because we don't know what's going on a lot of the time. We knew that there's concerns around their behavior in console market at the moment and how they're operating in a very disjointed manner. But they don't need to show up and sell hard because they're basically the only game in town at the moment. And that's a problem. This is a byproduct of that lack of competition. They don't have to try as hard. They're not going to invest the money in it like they used to. And I honestly don't think, like, what's the next one coming? Ghost of Yotei, and then we've got Soros after that, and then
Intergalactic? Well, Intergalactic Wolverine.
Who knows where Wolverine's going? Yeah.
So we've got
and then Corey still has a game that we know jack shit about, but
Facebook Corey got it.
He's probably restarted it twice. You know, he's on a roll there. But look, we've got majors coming. We know majors are coming. They're not going to tell us anything about it until it's 3-6 months out from release because that's their habit at the moment. I don't see hundreds of millions of dollars being spent on marketing for these big games anymore. I just don't see it. There's no call for it because they're not competing against anything. The only thing they've got to avoid is GTA 6, but they've only got to be no closer than 4 weeks pre and 8 weeks past, or 6 weeks past. It's a 10-week gap. And as long as they stay outside of that, they're still going to rake the cash because they're going to have the highest selling point on it. They're not having to invest this money in the public eye, but that's not to say they're not investing it in the back end because they have huge amounts of involvement at the conventions, just not in front of the public. So I'll accept your comments and I'll agree with your comments. They have shut the bed with the consumer side of it. They're investing huge amounts of money in the back end to keep the pipeline going. They've got a budget, like their, I forget his name now, but they do preservation. That guy that runs their preservation team. He's on Twitter. He does a fair bit of, he goes all over the place talking about Sony's preservation. They've got a $15 million a year budget just for game preservation.
Yeah, but that's for a lot of it's for their benefit too. You know, like at my job, I'm in a construction business. I run a store where we sell tools, and this pertains to PlayStation, where these guys, they're some of the best workers that I've ever met. I mean, they can get a project done 80% faster than the next guy. But you know what they suck at? They suck at the paperwork. They suck at taxes. They suck at licensing. They suck at bidding. What I'm trying to say here is that PlayStation may be doing, and they are, because Faulky just said it, right? Doing all these things outside of the United States or the West market and investing that way. They're not doing it at the kindness of their own heart. They're doing it to get something in return. But at the same time, you can be the best at doing all those things. But guess what? The gamer is still part of your core business. Whether it's big or small, it's still a portion of your business. You can't just ignore us for 2-3 years because you're busy doing something else. And there's some intangibles, right? And we all do it at work, where there's some things that we do every single day that you can't really put on paper exactly what it is. But because you do it, things run smoothly. Yoshida was one of those guys, in my opinion. Not only was he out here looking for indies and building relationships, but he communicated with the gamers. He still does to this day. He promotes different games. That was a way for the gamer to kind of have that contact, even though if the administration didn't directly tell Yoshida, hey, go out there and, you know, talk to the customer base and make sure they are somewhat informed. Even if it came from them, it felt that way. PlayStation just said fuck it to everything on that side of the business. And to me, that's not good business, no matter how big or how small you are. And sorry to cut you off, Faulky.
No, real quick before we keep going. was gonna say real quick before we keep going.
You keep cutting me off. I'm gonna get you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Listen. I try so hard to not cut y'all off, but if these things keep going, chat's pretty active, and these are disappearing, so I want to read them before they go. William Aguilar, PlayStation presentations with the 5 are literally always in May and June, and then again in September. Might not be a showcase, but State of Play always reveal at least one new IP. I don't know if that last part is accurate, but yes, they do still give us their shows, and they do still drop them, but I don't think that was. I don't think that that's necessarily what we mean. We want to see them kind of promoting that community.
Games.
Yeah, and also
I don't want to see no more announcements.
I'm just like, how even Nintendo's ass is there? Like, how the hell is Sony don't have a like? I'm sure they're there in some, like you can play on PlayStations and stuff, but like, really, they have nothing in their wheelhouse there to like anything to kind of.
No, there's
we want to engage with them. It's not it's I think, correct me if I'm misphrasing this for all of us, but it's not that it's not enough to just have them available to some degree. We want them at these conventions for the consumer or the public to be able to engage with them.
Yes,
we want to
show you're excited about your shit.
We
want to show it off. Don't
maybe Soros is not ready, but shit, man, that's a new IP. Like, you got to get like. You telling me you couldn't have a little demo of Ghost of Yote or something shit like that?
Like a vertical slice, the damn game's gone gold already.
Dude,
like, almost gone gold.
Like,
I have a specific tool at my job that's been around since World War II. These brothers saw the destruction and said, we gotta create this tool and to help build faster. So this tool's been around for 80 years. People know about it. And guess what? Once a year, one of the reps for that tool comes to my location along with about 20 or 30 that he goes around just to say hi to the customer base. And guess what? Those are the busiest days. This guy's nobody special. He's just there to, hand out little quick, brochures or quick little, $5 coupons. Shit that's irrelevant. I can do a 10% coupon on the spot. But people come because they love the tool that they use. They want to hear what's next. Hey, are you going to do the same exact thing but use a lighter material? Are you, just all the questions that they have. And guess what? 99% of the time, nothing's changing. The tool only changed 3 times in over 100 years, but people still love to go there and talk about it. That is still part of business, man. And I just disagree with PlayStation so much. And look, I understand that they have the movie side and the entertainment side, which is now going to be the majority of Sony, right? If they want to be in the entertainment side and pull in the money that they want to, they have to do more than just say we make the best games in the industry.
So now it's funny you say that because Stephen Leon, member of 15 months, did this little chat in here celebrating his membership for 15 months. He said, and Sony puts out Wolverine, and this ranting will go bye-bye. I agree with all of you, but
I disagree.
I don't. I think he's dead on. But
Hell
you
no.
forget Sony, and all of these corps aren't a friend. So here's why. Before the panel goes in on this, here's why I think he's dead on accurate for the general populace. Okay, like there are going to be some like Will or even like others like me who are still very leery of certain games, but first of all, it's Insomniac. I'm not leery of a damn thing they produce. Second, it's Insomniac. I'm not leery of a damn thing they produce. Also, it's Wolverine. Like, they kind of have my money right now with just
those are
those
not
things.
Good points.
Those are amazing points. Tell me one thing that Insomniac has done wrong.
Nothing. But that attitude right there is why we're in the position that we're at now. Just because they feed us a game, okay, let's say they shadow drop Wolverine tomorrow. Okay, and then what? When's the next game coming out? In a fucking 2 years?
Well, sure. I am saying at that point, for that week, 2 weeks, whatever, people will look the other way and forget that they just released The Last of Us Complete Edition. Just want to throw that out there.
For the 5th time?
No. This was the first time they released the Complete Edition. Thank you.
Oh,
like
the Complete Edition that's not complete.
I understand the sentiment that, hey, a good game can make us forget all of this. But at the same time, you will have more detractors this time that do hold firm, or even could potentially look and go, yes, Wolverine's a great game. I'm excited. I've been excited since it was announced. It's amazing. I didn't dive into the leaks because, one, I didn't want to celebrate a hacker, and two, I didn't want to spoil anything for myself. So I stayed far away from that crap. And so, like, I am excited for that. And once it comes out, yes, I'll be happy. But there is a level to it that says we're not going to forget that it's taken so long, that we had live service stuff get canceled. We had live service stuff get released and get shut down. We've had live service stuff kill studios. We've had, like, that we don't forget that. The casual gamer is going to look and go, ooh, Wolverine, sick, let's go. Like, that's just the reality. But I do think that as people get more informed and as people kind of see what's going on, like, that starts to degrade quite a bit. The only reason I think it would work with Wolverine, which is the example that Steven gave, is because it's Insomniac, and Insomniac as a studio hasn't given us anything bad. Like, even the 29-hour experience of Spider-Man 2...
One thing I was want to...
Go ahead.
Okay. No,
go ahead.
You go finish. Sorry.
I said, even the 29-hour experience of Spider-Man 2 was great. I platinumed the shit. Hell, Will and I platinumed that damn thing together. Like,
together, yeah.
That was great. It was awesome. We kept, towards the end, we had to keep going, shut up. I'm not there yet. Shut up. I haven't done that collectible yet. Shut up. Like, so...
let me get, like, 30 seconds in here real quick. Real fast. Because... Yes, you're right. Normally, you're right about that, right? That, yeah, you'll give us Wolverine, the casual, they'll be fine. But the problem is that gaming as a whole is that the casual normally will play the Wolverine, the God of War, the Spider-Man, then they go back to their freaking Fortnite, Call of Duty, whatever. But the problem is that Fortnite is trash, Call of Duty is trash, all these big games that people are normally playing, MLB The Show, 2K, we're at a fever point. My cousin, who's a super casual, man, he plays Rockstar games and God of War. That is it. Maybe some other game that I bring up, he'll try it for an hour and then he'll throw it away because he don't like it. But even he's asking, where is PlayStation's next game? Is there going to be another God of War? He even brought up Horizon the other day. And I'm like, what? Normally what you're saying is correct, but since the industry is so shit, the games that we normally fall back on, it just doesn't have that power, the sustainability anymore.
I don't know. Jez, what were you going to
What I want to just clarify, I just want to just say, like, we're getting into the games and stuff like that. Not saying that they don't have the games or they haven't been feeding the PlayStation games and giving gamers what they want. Actually, I think without their games, we would have been a much bigger, deeper shithole than what it's going into. Like, I think their games definitely kind of remind us of, like, that, great games and quality still exist in this world of waifus and free-to-play bullshit. But what I was trying to say with Sony was their representation at these things to try to, because right now it is like a shit show of rumors, speculation, and Keighley kind of doing what he wants to do, and he using what Sony has, which we know that Sony has these games, and what their representation at this gaming event, they should be there. That's what I was saying. Not that they don't have games. Actually, they have games that would create a very big reaction, just like what Keighley does at every one of his shows. He leaves a PlayStation noodle at the end. It was the Last of Us game that got canceled. But then it was like, it was all these different PlayStation things at the end. One more thing for Janky Jones going to PlayStation. It was always like a little PlayStation announcement at the end of his highlight reel. So the impact that they have, and the fact that they're not at a gaming convention being part of the industry there. Especially when you see Gamescom, you see the people lined up to play Metroid. You see Nintendo's back there. Obviously, Nintendo skipped first, and now they're kind of going back. That benefits them. But the fact that Sony's nowhere to be found, like in a small booth or something like that, just to have some representation at these gaming events, that's where I'm like, it's because they have the stuff. We know they do, and people react crazy to it. And I feel that if these companies would get back to what they should do I just feel like the way Sony's news cycle has been, it's kind of haphazard. Like it's sort of down, then it's like, oh my god, like this is a crazy state of play. Then it's like, oh well, this is just some indie games. Like where's the big showcase? Everybody keeps talking about a showcase, and it's like you started this generation with a huge showcase for the PS5, and then really, you have not repeated that. You started strong and then kind of fizzled out when you gave this service shit. So it's more of just their representation at this thing. They're saying not that they don't have the games and they haven't been doing anything. It's just that it would be nice if they show up to these conventions. And now they're going to Tokyo Game Show, so we'll see what they got there. So maybe they're starting to, but it's kind of weird that they're not there. And that's
I'm gonna clarify something for the chat. And Will, if I speak out of turn for you, let me know. But I've known you for 2.5, 3 years now, so I kind of know what you mean when you say they're not giving us the games. When that's said, it's in regard, generally speaking, to the 5 big PlayStation studios, the 5 big heavy hitters: the Sucker Punch, the Naughty Dog, Insomniac, Santa Monica, and Guerrilla. Those are the 5 that usually get brought up in that conversation when you start talking about they're not giving us the games. Yes, they give us games with China Hero Project. They're giving us Lost Soul Aside. They gave us Death Stranding 2. They gave us Stellar Blade last year. They do the thing to keep us fed and to keep us feeling special, like a kept gamer. Like they really do. But and this is what I think Will is talking about, we're not getting the quality as quick as we would probably like it, or as fast as we see some of these other smaller studios giving decent quality games out to us in those 5 main studios. And I know that that's like splitting hairs, and Will, you can correct me if I'm wrong in that, because I agree with the chat that they are feeding us, but they're not feeding us from those big, heavy-hitting studios as quick.
Well, chat, let me ask you a question. What exactly have they fed us in the last year?
Death Stranding.
Please.
I can answer that. Death Stranding 2, Lost Soul Aside, we've
been talking about
Ghost of Yotai is coming out, so that's going to be in this calendar year.
That Ghost of Yotai, first off, it's a game. Ghost of Yotai is a game that it's falling away from what Ghost is. It's a controversial game. People are speaking about it in negative light. It's not
that's because people are dumb and controversial. People make everything fucking controversial.
I don't like it. I'm not buying that game day one. Fuck that game. Yeah. Why? Because I want more Jin.
But this is that's your opinion on the Jin
thing.
Exactly.
So
I wouldn't say it's controversial. Why? Look what they're doing with Wukong. It's not more of the monkey man. It's somebody different. Are they going to be crazy about that now that you're not playing as the monkey?
Well, if I was a fan of Wukong, I did play Wukong for 16 hours and fuck that game too. Mainly because the developer lied to me. But the thing with Ghost, it's just this lazy writing. It's a freaking revenge story. That's my problem with it. I don't really give a shit about anything else.
We don't know the whole story.
Yeah, but
they said that the revenge story is only half of the thing. Like there's things to it. Like remember, they don't tell you the whole story. There may be a twist
I get
and
that.
Stuff like that.
I get that, but if you just compare the Ghost of Tsushima trailer, you can tell there's political drama, family drama, cultural drama. It's a whole bunch of shit. In this trailer, I didn't see none of that. None of that. On top of that, we just got a samurai.
It's pretty good family drama.
That's family drama.
Come on, man. That's old fucking. We've been seeing stories drama. Like this at the beginning of time. I'm not saying you got to come up with a new story that nobody's ever heard of before. I'm not saying that at all, because you can redo the same story over and over and over again.
Said there's nothing new under the sun. I'm just saying.
But we can. Yes, there is. But we can talk about that later, because we talked on this podcast about that. I want to take up a lot of the time on that. But yeah, I'm not looking for Lost Soul Aside. In reality, it's just because I'm in the gaming community of like YouTubers and social media people. The feeling that I get from that is the people that saw this game being announced 10 years ago are the ones that are the most hyped about it. But just speaking to the regular average gamer out there, one, they still don't know what it is, or two, they're like, there's really nothing special about it. So the hype for that game that I've seen is coming from the guys that were there when that shit first got announced. Death Stranding 2. Yeah, Death Stranding 2 is my personal game of the year. I love the game. but that game basically we've known there was going to be a sequel since the first one. So it came out. It's a game by a third-party developer, right? So where is PlayStation going? China Hero Project, where are all those games at? Where's the India Hero Project? Where's the, there's so many things that we've been hearing for half a decade now that we're seeing very little of. And when they do show something, it's out within 6 months, which I like. But every time PlayStation announces something, it's either coming out in 6 months or in a couple of years from now. And then we're right back to the conversation of, should these studios be promoting a game where they're so far away? It should be 18 months or 12 months. It's the same exact shit all over again. But people are more forgiving because PlayStation games are top-notch, high quality. They don't come out buggy. They come out ready to go, ready to play.
Okay, so
yeah, no, I don't think that PlayStation is doing the best it can with the software it currently has, or their third-party or second-party deals.
So I actually I agree with you on first-party in-house. Strangely enough, I disagree with you that they are not keeping the console player fed with exclusives using exclusive deals, third-party exclusivity, or second-party exclusivity. But I do agree with you in the sense that
it's not even exclusive because it comes out on PC as well.
I said console for a very specific reason.
Yeah, I know, but just throwing that out there for the chat because it's not even exclusive. PlayStation is officially a third-party studio. They've been this whole generation, or not studio, but publisher. Third-party publisher, for those of you guys that are confused about that.
Been a third-party publisher since '95.
Well, yeah, that's true too.
Yes.
But yeah, very true.
So
it's a null and void argument that people want to run around and have these days. They've been putting
it's
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
This one.
Yeah, that thing's some bullshit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like they're trying to create like news articles, like they're third party. It's like what?
Yes.
Like what? They still only have exclusives. Like it's like. Anyway.
I was gonna say water is wet, but then remember our last conversation about that.
Well,
so, anyways, we have the chat going crazy. Wara, Guap, Lunchi, Brian, William, all of y'all are just going nuts over here. Jay Shep's joining in. Like, okay, so Guap hit with sequels don't count and then crying emojis. Lunchi Sky hit with laughing out loud emojis. Wara said, Guap, oh yeah, I don't agree with not counting it if you don't like a game. Brian East said, I don't care. And then William actually addressed you specifically, Will, so this is some Will on Will stuff here. They are not full third-party publisher like Xbox is. They still have exclusives. Technically, Xbox just released Grounded, but I think Grounded was on PC as well, so I guess I see what you mean. I'm not confused. I just don't care about PC. I console game. What's up, Shattered Glass 23? Thank you for coming to the Gaming Den. So, yeah, we have this conversation that tends to rise up every once in a while, and then you start doing the delineation between first party, second party, third party, blah blah blah, fuckity fuck, who cares? Yeah. There are console exclusives that have been given to me that I can't play on an Xbox or a Nintendo Switch. Final Fantasy VII, both games console exclusive. Actually, both games fully exclusive for a time period. I was going to say short time, but the first one was like a year and a half, 2 years. The second one, I don't even remember if the second one is fully out on PC. It might be. I don't follow it because I'm primarily a console gamer. So, with that being said, though, if we're looking at what PlayStation does, they've given, I think, 3 to 5 exclusives for the PlayStation every year via various means, but I think they've at least given 3 to 5 every year. Call it second party, call it third party, call it they don't actually own the IP, whatever, what have you. So I don't think that is.
Well, if you're counting that, then we should count all the non-PlayStation related games, which is a big portion of the industry. And by non-PlayStation related, I mean like they didn't go to PlayStation and say, hey, exclusive, or let's work out a deal. I'm not talking about none of that, but the reality is PlayStation is the default hardware. No, because you're talking about PlayStation's
low effort, and so I can't.
Most people are going to go to PlayStation anyways.
But you're talking about PlayStation's low effort, and I can't use the thing that they didn't put any effort in at all Because when you start talking about the
Oh, I said
effort,
low effort, not any effort.
these are the things that they actively are doing. I'm not counting stuff that they just got handed to them for free because they're the market leader. Like, that's different, and that fills a different void. That fills more of the, holy crap, this is the only place to play games that are coming out by our console. That's that's just sheer luck. They didn't do anything for that, but the things that they are doing, you mentioned China Hero Project, you mentioned the Indian Hero Project, or the India Hero Project. There's stuff that they have done with, hell, Sword of the Sea came out today and said, or yesterday I think, and said if it wasn't for PlayStation, they would have gone under. They would have collapsed, wouldn't have been able to make the game. And so, like, they said PlayStation literally saved their studio, which, that's pretty cool. We see stuff from Stellar Blade where, hey, this game would have taken so much longer if we didn't have the support from PlayStation
and that's
coming
what
out.
Faulky was saying earlier.
Right.
Like they're putting their money in the back end. Maybe they don't do a booth, so they're putting their money in those things.
Lunchy, what did I say?
Xbox saved Bethesda. I mean, you know, like
No.
of course
Oh,
they're
shit.
the big dogs. So, I mean, like this, like
So
I just don't.
Lunchy
This
Sky
isn't
answered
us.
your question. He said Stellar Blade, Ronin, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Astrobot, Death Stranding 2, Lost Soul Aside, Ghost, Eden.
Let's just name all the
Codenamed
games
Violet,
in the generation.
You asked.
Let's just name all the games in the generation. I said in the last year, but these are the big guys in the industry. Without these three, there is no video game industry the way that we know it now. So the fact that PlayStation saved Bungie's ass or Xbox saved whatever fucking studio just to shut it down a year later doesn't fucking mean anything. It really fucking doesn't. They saw a business opportunity and they took it. They're not doing it because they think that it's going to satiate the fucking gamer. They think because it's a possibility to own something, whether it's IP, money, or whatever. China Hero Project, India Hero Project, I am fully aware of those. I've been following those for years now. I even have YouTube videos made about them. Where the hell are those games? So what? PlayStation goes out here, puts a little bit of money, checks in every here and there. That's it? Well, they're doing what Xbox does? And then the game comes out in 6-7 years, and now they take all the credit like they fucking did something?
No, actually, they let the studio really run with the credit that gets taken.
Yeah, and we see how that's worked out in the video game industry. Mismanagement. We've been talking about mismanagement across the video game industry from top to bottom.
So letting the studio, the developers take... So, hang on. If I'm correct in what just was said, you shit on them for not managing them well, but the games from these studios come out faster than they're coming out from their own studios, so what's really to manage? The other thing is, it's actually really cool that they sit back and let these indie teams take all of the fucking credit, and they don't say shit unless they are brought up or asked about it. Like, other than the marketing, other than like putting it out there, other than showing it at game shows and things like that, they don't necessarily say, hey, look at us, look what we did. It was the development team with Shift Up that gave them all their props. It's the development team with Sea of Stars, Sword of the Sea that gave them their props. It was even fucked up enough, even the decision to put Helldivers on Xbox, Sony said jack shit. The developers came out and said, hey, thank you, Sony, for making this happen. You spearheaded this. This was your thing. Thank you. Like, Sony doesn't try to steal the limelight from these indie developers that they come in and they help out and they work with and they say, hey, let's come in and let's support you. They're not in it looking for, look what we did, they're in it looking for, hey, sell your game, make a great game, sell your game, y'all make money, we make money, our players are happy. Like, that sounds like a company that I would want to do business with, because I know as a smaller creator, I would be able to maintain some sense of my own pride in being able to say, hey, thank y'all so much. We had a wonderful, passionate team. It was great. To be honest, though, we ran into a huge problem. And we have no money. And Sony came in and said, hey, we want to partner with you. We love your game. We've seen it. We want it to reach market. And we want to come in and partner. And you don't have to do anything else. in
So
regards to
PlayStation is
us.
a Saint Teresa of the video game industry.
I did
what you're
not say
saying?
that. I am saying the way they handle their indie studios is actually really well. And we have clear-cut evidence from people who are at these studios giving Sony their props. David and I have actually talked about it on here before when we covered the Shift Up stuff, about how much Sony comes in, and Shuhei saw this and was like, hey, I want this. They said yes, and then from there it was, okay, cool, we can get this thing out faster. We have the back-end support from Sony. This is great. And so they got it done. Also, let me know if y'all can still see the stream. My Windows, my Chrome tabs just died. It said something went wrong with the connection. So let me know in the chat if y'all can still hear this and see it. But that's all I'd reply on that. Go ahead, Faulky.
I was going to say, you're arguing, I shouldn't say arguing, you're posting perspectives from the different sides of the transaction. And I think all we're doing is illustrating the last hour's worth of conversation that as a business, PlayStation does really good businessy things, but in terms of engaging with consumers, PlayStation doesn't do very good consumer engagement things.
Okay.
They just sit back and wait for it to happen. Now, they bring us games, and they do a great job of bringing us games, but they don't do a great job, from my perspective, of engaging with us in telling us about those games as themselves, which is an expectation that not just the rabid fan, but the general population of gamers, the casual gamers as we call them, they expect some level of announcement when something's coming. I know plenty of people who don't follow, they don't do the magazines, they don't do the online articles, they don't do any of that stuff. They just wait to see the advertisement on TV, or they wait to see the advertisement scrolling through TikTok, or they wait to see the advertisement of somewhere. The last time we got a major one was when they did, was it God of War? When they did all, I can't remember which one it was now. They put a heap of yeah, they had in Australia, in Sydney, they stuck the axe in the middle of a big friggin' rock, or they put the hammer in the middle of a park or something like that. There's this event that occurs, and it tells us, hey, the next big one is here. PlayStation habitually has only ever done 3, an average for the last 15, 20 years, 3, maybe 4 first-party games, or first and second-party games a year. They don't have a huge release cadence, but in more recent times, with the big publicity, they're upsizing and buying more studios and doing all this stuff and cranking this up, and very highly publicized for their own. They did this themselves, came out and said, we are getting cranked up to do more, and we haven't seen more. And we haven't seen more for a while. So as a consumer, we're entitled to ask the question, what the fuck are you doing? You told us you were going to give us more. You've shown us, Wolverine got a snapshot. Haven't seen jack shit about that since.
Yes.
Why do you do this to us? Why are you telling us you're going to give us more, and then you as the brand don't show up and do anything?
Yes. And then the conversation always devolves into... Sorry, go ahead.
As I say, fair enough, there's different ways of doing that, and they can't have one size fits all. But fair enough, as a consumer, you're entitled to say, well, I don't get much out of this. And everyone's entertainment is gaming is the biggest part of entertainment now. It's the biggest part of the industry of entertainment, and it is the most personalized way of enjoying entertainment. So everybody's got a different perspective on every different part of it. Try and aggregate that into running a business model that satisfies a majority so you can stay relevant and stay alive is difficult at the best of times. When you've got turbulent economic environments, it makes life a lot less. There is a risk averseness here, right? They don't want to take the risks, so they let somebody else take the risks for them. They stay
Question
out
about
of
the economics real quick, Faulky, because we see the price increase for the consoles, all that, but yet with PlayStation's reporting or their numbers that they've put out, they're making more money than ever. They're only $2 million away from the PS4 as the pacing, right? But yet they're exploding as far as per user spending. So we keep talking about how the economics of things and the cost of things, but yet they're making more than ever. What's going on with that? Why doesn't that translate into more games?
They Doesn't translate into more games from their first-party studios, you mean?
Yes.
Or more games
Yes.
will stop?
No, more
Okay,
games
so-
from their first party.
So their first-party studios are suffering horribly at the moment from being stuck in first gear, and they are chasing things that they really shouldn't be chasing. And the problem they've got is they've lost a lot of the people in the production pipeline who know how to get things out to market, and they don't have that, drive to just crack in. I mean, we were talking about this the other day. You and I were talking about this. Is the why is it that the Eastern guys can churn out games at a rate that the Western guys can't? And a lot of it comes down to attitude and culture. At the moment, they've got a very hands-off, relaxed culture in a lot of the Western. Where are all Sony's first-party studios? They're all in Europe and they're all in the US. They haven't, other than a team Asobi, who's based in Japan. They've got no one else in the Middle East. They've got no one in the East, in Asia. They've got no one in Africa. They got nothing, and that they're at the behest of work cultures that don't that they clash now with that crunch piece. And fair enough, most people don't want to work 80 hours a week, but guess what? If you work in accounting and finance, 80 hours a week is about normal from the 6 months of the year. If you work in construction, 60 hours a week is done by Wednesday. It's ridiculous what they consider to be bad in the environments that they say is toxic, and then you look at other people in much bigger industries and they go, yeah, well, that's just another Tuesday. So they are not getting the production pipeline working. Naughty Dog's had to do all these re-releases and upgrades and re-releases because they've got to get some money in the door because they just can't get moving. They can't get traction on these games. You've seen what Intergalactic looks like. They worked on the online service game and they had to shelve that. They chose to shelve it rather than ship it because they didn't want to be a one-game studio anymore. And they couldn't afford to run 1,000 people on one game because it's not Fortnite. They're never going to get that level of player. So they've learnt the hard way. They chewed into their profit margins to do that. Now they've got to pay it back. The last thing that they can afford to do as an overall business is to go back to the lost lead programs that were PS1 to PS4. The console hardware as a lost lead program is just not going to generate it because of the lack of revenue available from game sales. Because again, it's people don't like talking about it, but it is the subscription model effect. If you've got PS1 to PS3 was easy. You bought the console, and the same with the Xbox and the Nintendo. You bought the console, you had to physically buy the games, and the pricing was set, and the game window release was 6 months. And the cost of doing that was minimal, because once you printed it and stuck it on a truck, it was the retailer's problem. Now with the digital distribution and online stores and all the rest of it, it's still PlayStation's problem. And it's not like it's gone in 6 months. Once it's on there until they decide to pull it down. And God forbid they pull it down, because look how much people kick and scream when a game that didn't sell is get taken off a store. So there's all these additional costs associated with providing this stuff and the back catalogue preservation, all that sort of stuff to make it available. Because once you buy the license, you might not own the game, but they still have to give it to you because the consumer laws in most countries say if you've got a license to access it and it's in perpetuity, they've got to provide it to you one way or the other, otherwise they're in trouble. Especially in Australia, that's a really big one. So they've got all these additional costs that they just can't go to a lost lead point on with the console. That's why they keep cranking the price of this damn thing up. It's got nothing to do with the tech that's going in it, and it's got all to do with this business model reliant on the console has to be thereabouts break even or slightly in front. But that's not where they make the money. They still make the money off the add-ons and the back end with the sales and all the rest of it. If they went lost lead with the consoles, if they dropped $100 off them and went lost lead on that just to ship them, the amount of money they would lose would chew 2 or 3% off their bottom line in PlayStation business units straight away. And then they're in the realm of, Christ, we haven't got enough money to survive. Some studios are going to have to close. That's what they're trying to avoid.
So,
as big as they are, they still can't break the shackles on that.
So we have a $10 super chat from Stephen Leon, and if Sony would toot their horn, we would Argent. I'm guessing he means we would be pissed off at them. They can't win no matter what they do. Damned if they do, damned if they don't. I've been around a long time, and I've seen too much to not be patient. So that is the other thing. We have, and Jez, I'm actually not going to talk much right now. I want to get to Jez and see, or Faulky, or somebody on the panel, and let this conversation keep going because it's actually a really good one. Jez, you got anything to add? Faulky, I know you're about to talk right now, so go ahead. Either one.
Oh, me?
Yep.
Well, no, I never said that. And I have.
Jez is like, I'm just ready for the next topic. Let's go.
I'm just like, no. The thing was just I just feel like I was more I'm frustrated with the way the news cycle is and how and how they have these gaming conventions and a little jealous that like I'm seeing like all the stuff and the games there and people lined up and how we don't have like something really cool at how E3 just failed here and there's no.
They should have PSVR 2 at every one of these damn things, pushing that hardware, pushing everything.
They did. And this is the thing. Like again, we're back to what they used to do, but it's just. I just can't, like, seeing these conventions in other countries and going like, hey, I've seen, and believe I'm going to the anime convention. There's conventions for friggin' everything. Pokemon cards. There's conventions for everything. How does a United States, how do we lose E3? Like, how did the industry go like, well, E3 really doesn't benefit us. We got to come up with gameplay and stuff like that. It's like, mother, you're doing the same shit anyway for Jeff Keighley. Like, why are we? And it's probably the ESA and money again and shit. But I'm just like, it would be cool if Sony did show up to some of these things and have some cool announcements there and not just give it to Keighley. But I feel too that I'm not a fan of the state of plays. I wish there was more routineness, like maybe one per quarter where we can anticipate some sort of announcements from them. I don't like the randomness of how gaming news is handled now, and it's more of just influencer driven and lies and everybody just wants to be out there first without fact checking. And that's why I just did my last video. What I heard was like Packer looked like he fucking got drugged up, and they said, we'll give you some pudding if you spout some lies. Like, that's the person that's spreading news about Sony. Like, and this is what I mean. Fair games. Like, this is a perfect example that leads into this thing. Like, Pachter ran his goddamn drunken mouth about Jade Raymond leaving and saying that Fair Games was canceled. And Sony didn't come out and say anything like this. It was like, oh, Dusty Bin had to go talk to Pachter, and Pachter's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just said that. Like, they canceled the game. And it's just like, that's some bullshit. Like, the fact that stuff runs around the internet, like, and that becomes news, and they're, like, canceling, like, it could hurt. Like, think about if you're working on the game, and it's like, what the fuck? Who just said it was canceled? And it's just the nature of the media, and I wish if there was more organization from the publishers, from the messaging, that there will be more confidence that bullshit like that won't get traction, because they'll be like, the fuck you talking about? We just saw it last month on a state of play. Like, and I mean, like, the fact that they're quiet and they're not being as transparent with everything they're working on, it allows bullshit like this to permeate. So I feel like if they had more routine announcements, it would be better. Not that they don't have the games, and I just feel like the way the internet's able to run around with bullshit, it's because of it's because of that. And again, I know they're not going to mediate that stuff. I know that, that shit's still going to happen, but it would possibly limit it if we got more of a routine news cycle from all of them, not just Sony, but like all of them. Because I don't like, without the E3, without that Super Bowl of gaming, it got really just crazy. That's where my frustration comes from.
Yeah. So, Faulky, I'll let you finish out your thought, and then we're going to move on to the next topic, which will probably be the last one.
Oh, move on.
Okay.
We'll talk about this forever.
We will, and that's why I want to kind of move on, because this is always something that comes up. And my guys, we could make movies, we could make scripts, we could make TV shows, we could make all of whatever media we want to about the bullshit that goes on in the gaming industry. But let's talk about something that's actually going to be affecting a ton of people coming up. So I have two ways I can go. And I think one way, Actually, I think both of these are really quick, so we might be able to squeeze both of them in. So first, here's what we're going to do. We are going to discuss. Also, we have been here for 2 hours. Please hit the like button. We have 38 people in here and 22 likes. I'd like to see those numbers match a little bit closer. It would super help out. Thank you so much for those who are here, even if you're just lurking in the background waiting for us to say something stupid. Mainly me. So here we go. Let's pull this up real quick. Where is it? Here it is. Cool. So Helldivers 2 gets a crossover. Not only does it get to go get played on the Xbox, but now there's a crossover with Halo ODST. And you can see it on the screen right there. The crossover you've been waiting for arrives August 26th. I know, everybody, the crowd goes wild.
Who asked for this?
Well, hang on. I'm about to tell you. Hang on. Helldivers 2 arrives on the Xbox Series X and S next week, August 26th. That game doesn't matter. August 29th is when Lost Soul Aside comes to the PlayStation. That's all that really fucking matters. Anyways, moving on. And it's dropping in with a magnificently Xbox-themed surprise, introducing the Helldivers 2 crossover Halo ODST Legendary Warbond, a collection of equipment you might just recognize. In the world of Helldivers, ODST stands for Obedient Democracy Support Troopers. As every good soldier knows, nothing is more important than complete and total obedience in support of democracy. This set of gear is inspired by storied heroes and will allow you to join the ranks of the best of the best of the best. Blah blah blah. Here's the weapons. You get 4 different weapons. You get an A9 hell jumper, an A5 blah blah blah, more armors. Kate, who gives a shit? Cool. So, Halo Warbond, awesome. I want to know in the chat if you're getting the Halo Warbond, even if it's just as like, hey, I want a momentum on the shelf just to say, holy shit, what happened? Like, that's... So, real quick, start at the bottom with Will 777JP. What do you think of this? Does this touch your radar? Do you give a flying rat's ass?
No, man, it's exciting news, honestly. It just shows me, I love Halo. I love the Halo campaigns, and it's one step closer. First time that we'll see, I think it's the first time we'll see Master Chief on PlayStation. I'm getting it, even though I'm kind of over Helldiver. I will play it every once in a while, but I'm going to do it just to support. And I bought the last one that they did with, what was that other game? A PlayStation first party studio, the people that made Horizon. They had the crossover. That one was pretty, Guerrilla. It's that shooter game they did before Horizon. They had that crossover.
Killzone.
What was that?
Or Killzone was done by Guerrilla, or Resistance was done by Insomniac.
No, not Resistance.
Hang on.
I'm looking at my collection.
Shooter. I'm trying to find it now. We are Guerrilla. That's great. Killzone was Guerrilla.
Yeah, Guerrilla.
Killzone.
Yep, that was.
Wow. Everybody froze up on that one.
I had to go to the intro.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, and plus, with Helldivers, they're cheap. These freaking, what are they called? Their season pass.
The warbond.
They're always the warbonds. I think they're like $5 or $10, and you can get the money in the game. You just have to grind a little bit, but that's okay. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna support it. I love Halo, and to see it on there. Now, the real question that I have is the Xbox gamer gonna support this? That's the real question that I have, because I know the PlayStation community has
for the ROG.
For the ROG. The PlayStation community is known, right, to support these things. They're known to buy games. They're known to buy DLC. That's why it's the default fucking console. So yeah, that's what I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see if they make a dent and an impact, and see if them porting that game over there was worth it.
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's going to be the opposite. I think the PlayStation guys are going to be like, who this? Because it's not Master Chief, it's the ODST.
ODST.
So, yeah, so not a lot of people even know. The ODST, first of all, it was a Halo 3 con, which not a lot of people really, know about, like, in the sense of, like, it's not Chief running around, it's the ODST. So, like, I think, it's definitely I think it's more of a move to get more of the Xbox people involved in it, and sure, because it is something they're familiar with. I'm gonna get it on PlayStation, because that's why I have Helldivers too. I think it's freaking incredible. It's crazy is that I was on a streaming it, and I was like, this is basically Halo, like ODST. Like, it looks incredible. It's basically better Halo than what's available. And to think that now they're just putting those skins in there, I wish that
you're an insider, Jazz.
I am an insider. Yo, I don't have any insiders, man. Let's use my two eyeballs.
Two eyeballs.
But what I wish they did is have a planet of New Barbosa or some sort of backdrop that you land into. Because in the teaser, they showed the rain and they had the atmosphere there. I'm like, I want to make sure, hope there's a planet that's like New Barbosa that you could drop down. And it's not just like, the skin and the gun and stuff like that, but actually it would be cool to kind of drop into a planet like the one in ODST. Because ODST... Again, not a lot of people liked it so much. But it was such an awesome spin-off.
I loved it.
I loved it too. I thought
the
it was
music
such a
was
different.
Awesome.
Yes, the spin-off was great, and the way they told the story was a different type. You weren't a super soldier. You weren't a super soldier. You weren't chief. You weren't a Spartan. You were just a kind of just an orbital dropship trooper that comes in after the planet was attacked, and you try to figure out what happened to your team in flashbacks and you have night missions. Like, it really was cool the way they did it in ODST.
Hey, Jess, how about Bungie gets involved with the Helldiver devs and create something like that? You know what I mean? They were part of that,
Talk about the biggest disappointment. Bungie is ass. I don't think Bungie has the magic anymore. I don't know what's up with them. They are a shit show. I had so much respect for them. And I just think that right now Bungie is like, I don't know what the hell they're doing. I thought they were geniuses in the fact that they could make this, like, do incredible things like that. And they've just been, been very disappointing, man.
They're a one-trick pony.
I just don't know what's up. I would wish they would collaborate, and I thought they would even develop like one of the most incredible first-person shooters for Sony and give them that. And I don't know. I didn't really care for so much what I saw of Marathon. I didn't play Marathon, so I don't know. But I'm not feeling it so much or what they're doing there. And and Destiny had incredible gameplay, and I really like the campaign of Destiny 2. I just couldn't deal with the grind of Destiny. That did not captivate me at all. Running around, shooting the same enemies, doing the same, and the DLC was confusing as hell. Like, I liked the campaign. I played that. I did a couple of raids. I thought those were incredible. Some of the best nights that I had, like playing like a raid with a bunch of people. That was awesome. But I felt like the Destiny just kind of didn't do it for me, and like grinding and leveling up and stuff. But the gameplay was there, and I wish they brought that to like a new game for PlayStation. But I don't know about Marathon. I gotta play it, but I'm just
I played it. It was okay, but that's not my type of game. I'm a single player gamer, and
imagine if Bungie did something with Helldivers. Like,
it sounds like nobody gives really, like, this is cool, and so what I hear is this is cool. This brings back some nostalgia. It's probably going to get some Xbox players to maybe at least turn their head towards it. But do you think that, because let's be honest, this is put in here for the sole fact, and Jazz, I'm glad you hit on it. It's put in here for the sole fact to attract that Xbox gamer. Because the worst thing that could happen is this game goes over there. They've used resources at Nixxes. I don't know how much. I don't care. They used resources at Nixxes to get this done. Because of that, I want to see this game actually succeed. I don't care that it's going to Xbox. I just want to know that Nixxes' resources weren't wasted, because they're actually a really good studio that does really good port work. And so I just want to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to and being in a profitable, that they're being used properly. Sorry. So
actually,
with that being said,
I ask,
why would they release it on the same day?
Yeah, can I ask Faulky a question, please? I've been trying to get him on my channel and he doesn't like me enough. So can I ask him one that he's here in regarars to that what you're talking about? Is that okay?
Come on. You can ask the question, but it's Monday morning.
The question's not the problem. The little pot shot there is the problem. I didn't.
My question for Faulky about the Helldivers is no, I'm just fucking with you, Faulky. I know, man. I'm busy Mondays too. Right. My question to Faulky is, because I've spoken to this with Wara, I've spoken to this with so many people, and I just cannot figure out Why would they want to put Helldivers on Xbox when they don't spend money over there? Why is that, Faulky?
Test.
It's a test. Yeah, we've already asked Faulky this question a few weeks
Do
ago.
you think it's a test?
No,
You think it's
Yeah.
give me a chance to answer the man's question.
You increased the
waited
PlayStation
2.5
price,
hours
Faulky.
to ask
Now
it,
give us
so
this
it's
answer.
time.
Yes.
So it's a test and it's a trial. There's a couple of different parts to this, and again, it'd be nice if they came out and told us. But the big growth area for gaming at the moment in terms of users is on PC. Console is stagnant. Handheld market is effectively non-existent. Might as well be non-existent.
How's it stagnant? They sold 80 million.
Yeah, they're only a couple million
But
behind, and they're making more money than ever monthly.
Right.
Yeah, they're selling them, but when I say stagnant, it's new entrants. So outside of the whole console sphere, where are new gamers coming to gaming coming from? And where does PlayStation have access to that? They shat the bed with mobile. They're no good at that. They realised that early enough to not bother. They didn't realise early enough with live service. They got a problem there, and they're paying for that now. The big growth area in new entrants to gaming is coming through in that PlayStation can get access to is in PC, particularly PC in Asian markets that have previously been unavailable or hard to crack into with a console. So why is that important? Well, one of the big operating systems is Microsoft. And if you can get a game working on the Microsoft OS, then you've got access to sell it into those markets, as opposed to being reliant just on Steam. And Steam can't be in every market. And like we saw with the original Helldivers issue with the regional stuff, PlayStation still can't figure out how to get around some of those quirks. Microsoft knows how to get around them really easy. They've already done the hard work to get around that user information requirements. So instead of recreating the wheel, there's an opportunity there to just leverage somebody else's work. Well, that means you've got to sell the games on the Microsoft Store, or you've got to have some way of selling them on a Microsoft Store. And so that's one avenue. Nixus needs to get trained up on how to do that, and they're not going to do it without any cost recovery. So what's a game that there's been demand for that they can put on Xbox and predominantly be looking at in that respect? Helldivers. Xbox players have been screaming for Helldivers since the day it launched, or the day they found out that it wasn't going to Xbox.
If this doesn't work,
now,
nothing will.
That's pretty much. So the challenge there is how is it getting there? I don't know why you'd bother putting Spider-Man on Xbox, but same.
But that's the kind of game that would sell. Like,
I mean,
Spider-Man.
it would work.
Yeah, it would. And the shorter version probably work better than the longer version, but it's a different discussion. They're putting it on X and S. It's available to play on PC through the Microsoft option, is my understanding and what I've been told and what I've read. To play it, though, you have to buy it. It's not on Game Pass. You have to have a paid subscription to whatever version of Game Pass to be able to play online. So there's that piece there. They're testing to see if they're actually going to buy games at the same time as hopefully getting the money back on doing the port. The intention here is to be net neutral at some point. Now, PlayStation is going to give up an amount of money here, but it's not going to be anything more or less than what they do with Steam. It's a second-party game, though they have rights to the IP. They're publishing it. It gets into that murky grey area, but there's more benefit that's not we're going to sell 1 million copies over there than just that straight-out game sales number. I don't think it's going to do much, and I think that the failure of it is going to be reflective of we're not going to bother doing this with others. There might also be a contractual requirement where part of the deal of the ABK thing happening was that they went, well, at some point, PlayStation's got to bite the bullet and put some games somewhere else. Or they've used it as an offering to be able to get something out of Microsoft with the ABK thing. Because remember, that got wrapped up really quickly. It was like in 24 hours, all the deals were done and everything was happy and smart and off we go. But, yeah, there's a few bits and pieces there. If any game was going to do well, in like a current gen game that had a bit of traction, Helldivers is probably good. And look, the crossover stuff they're doing is already generating hype. If you put Spider-Man as the first game to go over to an Xbox console and Spider-Man Remastered, is it going to have the same sort of impact? I don't know. Is it going to sell? Well, they're probably not going to pay $80 for it. It's a 7-year-old game. But then if they're not going to pay money for, a $40, $50, whatever Helldivers is now, they're not going to pay money for that.
Well, Faulky, quick follow-up. It's going to be a 10-second answer. Besides maybe the contractual stuff, theory, but do you really have to be a David or a genius to be able to tell that they're just not going to buy the damn thing? Like,
I like how
really
you
need to make
clarified
this test happen.
I like how you clarified that both are different. David and a genius are on two separate levels. David's actually a little bit above a genius, so we gotta.
Well, no, I meant it as in they're the same thing. My bad if I didn't put the.
Yeah. No, I'm messing with you, man.
No, it's all good. I mean, Michael Pachter considers himself a genius, so we've seen how that works. There are team. I know I say this frequently. There's teams of people. There are probably in excess. There would be in excess of 100 different people who are likely smarter than me at this stuff, because they've done doctorates and been 30 years in the industry and all the rest of it. In that analysis point where they are hyper focused on figuring out if this is worth doing or not with multiple different aspects of it. They clearly see something there that's worth poking and scratching the spot to the point where it's a minimal outlay. Like Nix's doing the ports probably cost them maybe $1 million and a half dollars. If they can recover that, that's if they get a couple 100,000 units sold, that's great. They'll recover that and have some return on it. But if it's a sunk cost, and then at least they know. But they must have something there that they're prepared to invest the money on, because I cannot see it just being a straight sales return. They'd have to sell like 1 million copies to make it even worth doing just on game sales.
Well, you know how people talk about money hatting from PlayStation? Do you think there may be some money hatting from Xbox? Like, hey, we're putting Gears over there, we expect something, or hey, before we put Gears or Halo and all this shit, we expect something? I mean, do you think there's a possibility? And I know that's kind of silly, but there's people out there that still believe that PlayStation money hatted Wukong. All right, so I just wanted to give them the...
If that's the case, then whoever's done the deal for PlayStation's an idiot and needs to be fired. Because they've got the upper hand in the negotiation like you wouldn't believe. Microsoft coming to PlayStation and saying, hey, we're going to sell our games on your console, give us the dev kits and all the rest of it, would have had to have had some kind of, you're not going to use this against us, otherwise we're going to destroy you in court. Because getting your hands on your competitors' consoles, like, there'd have to have been something there. Forza's done well. Most of the first-party Xbox studio games that have gone to PlayStation have done pretty decently, but Microsoft needed that to happen. Xbox desperately needed that to work. The ones where they say, 6 of the top 10 are Microsoft published. Yeah, but most of those are ABK games that were there anyway. Mm-hmm. So the detail does matter. Again, it's one of these, if Xbox is moving away from... And the thing we spoke about at the start is important on this as well. If Xbox is moving away from a traditional console and they're going to this Frankenstein PC thing, and it may or may not be handheld, it's certainly going to run on the Microsoft platform. It may be that, PlayStation will launch their games here and then put them over there at some point because it's a hybrid PC or it's a Frankenstein PC, whatever you want to call it, because it may not be considered a direct competitor. Like this ROG Ally. Yeah, you can play PlayStation games through Steam on it, but PlayStation might make more money if they just publish it under a Windows platform and you can buy it direct from there. That might be that's one option. You got to get in early and get the understanding in Nixus and Iron Giant or whoever else it is they're going to use to do the ports. And it may be that the live service games are day and date or 6 months or whatever it is, because that's when you make your cash on them. And the remasters, remakes, and all the rest of it might be on the PC 18 months to 2 years. bandwagon. Now, if that's the path they take and they can generate more money out of doing it, that's great. But they're only going to find out if they do it, because they can hypothesize and forecast and expect it. Yeah, there's only 30-something million Xbox consoles out in the wild, but there's how many millions more Microsoft PC gamers out there that are an opportunity to do it. Not everybody PC games on Steam. There's actually a large amount of people who don't PC game on Steam. And that's another market they can tap into. So if there's no... comes back to the competition thing. If there's no threat, there's no need to keep the wall up.
Mm.
And as soon as there is a threat, the wall will go straight back up. And they've got the flexibility to do that at the moment because they haven't got that core competition coming from Xbox. Now, they make more money. That's a business doing what a business is supposed to do. If that more money translates into more wages for their employees, not the bosses, but the employees, and they can put more into making games and actually get games out the door, and they put more into the indies and more into the conventions and more into supporting their partnerships, in the end, we get more choices and options as gamers in terms of games coming in the pipeline. Do we have restrictions then on less places to access them? Probably not. We're actually getting more places to access them. But that's all down the pathway. But I say that to bring it back to the explanation, this perspective of they're trying something because they must see a future where this may be what they need to do in order to continue to grow. Now, it doesn't mean it'll be day and date, but it also means it may be day and date. It just depends on whatever Microsoft spits out the other end. But that's part of the deal. Got to try it with something. So hopefully that answers your question. Sorry for my TED talk.
No.
No, you're good.
It
doesn't make sense to me. It still doesn't make sense. I mean, the return on investment, I just think it's not. I mean, I don't see Helldivers selling more than 1 million copies, and I mean that's a good chunk of change. I don't want to act like that's not good money, but I think that the bigger picture just doesn't.
I'd be surprised if it does more than 200,000. I honestly do not think going over 250,000 units sold. I don't see it.
So now let's say it is successful. If it is successful, what's next?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know what internally they're considering as successful. If they're treating this as a sunk R&D cost, they could sell one and they wouldn't care because they've already sunk the cost in and they've got the output from it. And that might be what they consider success. And then they'll have a look at, that massive back catalogue they've got across multiple generations that they're slowly feeding into their subscription service themselves. Let's start banging this stuff out over there. Or they might be waiting for whatever the announcement of the next Xbox Frankenstein computer thing is. And that might be the catalyst. And they're starting to get their ducks in a row for that. Because, we're in 2025, we're in the back half of 25. We're 2 to 3 years away from whatever next gen is. And I know it's just crazy to say that because we're only 5 years in this gen.
Jazz.
At this point, with this point right now, but there are teams of people who are employed with big dollar budgets that are looking at right now, where are we going to be when we get it into market in 2 to 3 years time, and they've got to make the decisions now about what does that look like in 2 or 3 years. And we as consumers can completely fuck that up for them if we want to, because we decide, no, we're not going to pay that and we're not going to accept that and we're going to vote with our wallets and we're going to go the other direction. We could completely destroy their plan. But they have to make the decision now for then. And I agree with you, Will. It's a big risk. There's something in there that they're obviously trying to achieve. But I don't think it's going to sell. I don't see it, and I don't think there's a pathway forward with the current gen that they're going to start pumping games out over there for the specific purpose of getting a return.
Yeah. See, my thing is that this Helldivers thing has been really, again, I keep thinking Herman lost a bet on his yacht. Because it definitely, I agree, with Will, the thing is that, I see PC, it's a huge install base potential to sell, to put something out there and monetize the shit out of it with such a huge pool. Same thing with putting games on a Switch. The install base is big. You put it over there. The install base on Xbox is small, but to use Nixus's time to put that game over there there's got to be something else going on. And then when I saw the Halo ODST thing, there's definitely, if PlayStation initiated this, somebody at Microsoft wanted something there, because they put, like, with having Halo there the same day and having a ODST there, it's definitely not just a Sony, like, hey, we're just going to put this over there. Microsoft, it was definitely some sort of collaboration, in the sense, like, we put this there, oh, we're going to put this skin on there, you guys, you know, do this skin and do this stuff for Halo ODST to put it in there. Because to have it in there day one definitely was probably part of the whole porting discussion going on there, I think. So there's definitely some sort of, like, handoff that was going on. But I just think it's the stupidest thing is having it released on the same day as Gears coming to all the, like, the Gears going to PlayStation, and having that. It definitely is a strange day. Like, you would think that you're gonna put a multiplayer game out there, especially a service one. Why would you put it on the same day of another multiplayer game and campaign? I would put that, different. But the fact that it's coming out on the same day, I do think that it does open up the thing for Sony to see the potential money on there, because I feel that they're trying to, get their IP exposure out there, and maybe feel that Xbox is an untapped potential with their multiplayer focus and the way, they find that Helldivers is something that there's a demand for it over there. But it's still just very strange when you see these consoles wanting to grow and
Yep.
putting their stuff on larger things. But one thing I wanted to say, what Faulky said before, about this whole these Phil says it all the time, and it's Phil Ness, but this whole, like, the console market's not growing, they gotta go get other people. How the hell are they still in business 25, 30, 35, 40 years later? And that was never a fucking issue. But now, these last 10 years, it's been like an issue. And it's like, oh, well, games are more expensive. Well, games didn't get more expensive over the last 30 years to make. They were making goddamn Atari games and ET in a hole. And now look at these graphical games and, Halo 5 and stuff. Games were obviously getting more expensive to make. So this whole, and I think it's because of this mobile market and stuff that they just want to make excuses that, oh, well, the console's just not good enough. And it's just like, that didn't stop you for 5 generations of consoles. Why is it an issue now? And it's such an issue now that we have to kind of compromise here and there. And I always pissed off when Phil was like 2 billion gamers. And I remember going back to one of my OG grinds my gears, and I'm like, what does a game look like for 2 billion gamers? What game is that? Because you're not going to make a game that attracts 2 billion gamers. What are you going to do to these games to make them attractable to 2 billion gamers? Because I don't know what a game like that looks like. And it's just this chase for this golden goose, this golden carrot. I'm just annoyed that both of them are doing this shit. And it's like, you're poking around with the neighbors, but keep fucking around with the house, and you're not going to come back to a family. Just ask Phil Spencer. He's in an empty house right now. Like, and this is where I get triggered when they do this shit, because I'm like, don't piss off the hand that feeds you, because we are the ones that buy the most, spend the most, buy fucking 3 and 5 controllers. Don't go poking around at motherfuckers that don't even know what an ODST is, or know what a fucking Kratos is. They don't care. They're not coming to you. The person who plays Panda Pop on their cell phone doesn't give a flying fuck about Nathan Drake. They would have bought a PlayStation. So stop chasing this golden goose of these people that don't give a shit about you and your franchises. You're not going to get them. They are entrenched in their puzzle games, their Panda Pops, their Pokemon Go's. Leave them where they are. You create the noise, and then maybe we'll turn their heads. But stop chasing the people on those devices. They don't play your games.
Yeah, they don't. They're a different type of gamer.
Yeah, nobody's going to drop their phone, go, what the fuck is this? And go pick up a controller and learn about R3 and L3. They don't fucking know. Same thing with a PC gamer. The person that's playing World of Warcraft and playing those dudes that look like the size of a fucking ant are not going to be booting up goddamn Spider-Man with their keyboard.
Yeah, they're
They
different
play
gamers
their
as well.
strategy games. They're different gamers.
Yes.
Well,
So
look at the
stop
top
chasing.
20. The top
Yes,
20 on Steam
they're
stay the
different
fucking
people.
same. And think about this: when Assassin's, let's just say whatever, it doesn't matter what game it is, but the big AAA game that comes out that has hype, where does the game sell at the most? You know, it doesn't sell on Xbox, PC, not really. PlayStation is the place. So all this fucking rush to get to PC because of the engagement that PC has, that doesn't necessarily translate into money. Because I mean, where are these? You know, people talk shit to PlayStation like, oh yeah, you're great. You know, you only sold 10 million copies out of 100 million copies that you have. That's only 10%. That's super low. And I'm thinking, who else is selling 10 million? Like, I don't know of many other publishers that are selling 10 million.
Look at the install base of PC and look at how much these games are selling on PC.
Yeah,
and
that's
go
what I'm
look at
saying,
their
yeah.
top games. The thing is that it's a potential there, and you could do it. Just and I'm glad the strategy what Sony does is that they're not pulling away from the quality I thought at first, but this venture of service games and being everywhere on day one, that's this fuck shit that Microsoft got into.
Yep.
Trying to put everything everywhere, and guess what happened? Features were omitted. Quality of games, 30 frames not only here, 60 frames can't be here.
It's artistic.
That's what happens. Autistic decision, my ass.
Yes.
Like exactly. So if PlayStation starts doing that, and they start going, well, put these games everywhere day one, and now the shit gets diluted. We can't have that because they're chasing this.
And you know,
this thing that drives me crazy. That
A
this
couple
becomes
week-
the excuse. Like,
Yeah,
like, oh my god, like, oh, console market's not growing.
you know,
Then
when
fucking
the,
get out of the console market. I don't know what to say to you. Like,
when the whole job thing
Panda
came
Pop
up,
moms are not coming.
when the job thing came up a couple weeks ago, and then all the fucking ponies were like, "Oh, I'm fucking." I had a podcast that night, and I said, "Look, if you're gonna leave PlayStation because of a job that already fucking existed and every fucking company has, you're a fucking retard." But if you're really serious about going to PC and you've been saving up and you're short a couple $100, hit me up. I will
Sell me
give
your
you the fucking
PS5
money so you can switch over to PS.
Please.
So you can let go of your PS5 and go to PC. Hit
Go
me up.
buy a PC.
I'll give you, yes. Get the fuck
and then
out
I
of
go
here.
play Ghost of Yotai. I don't want to see you fucking playing that
Yes.
game when I'm
Yeah,
playing it.
it's
You
like-
could wait.
I was like, I'll give you the
Like-
$200 so you complete your fucking 20 years of saving up for a PC. But now is the
these
time you've been
guys go
saving.
to PC. I
But-
have PC. It's different.
It's
Like,
different.
Jesus
It is
Christ,
different.
dude,
What I
like,
was-
you're not.
What I was saying with that is
sorry.
that even though there are those jokesters out there, right? That are like, oh yeah, I'm fucking hurt, but hurt, so I'm gonna go to PC. There are those people, a lot of them. But there still is some guys out there that are for real sitting there and they're saying, well, look, Xbox is fully third party. They put their games everywhere. PlayStation is putting their games PCs. I can wait a year for some of these games because I got all these indie stuff, all this third party stuff. Maybe I do want to go to PC. And that's the thing that's the Pandora's gate that PlayStation has opened this generation, right? And yeah, the numbers aren't astronomical, but as things keep moving forward, and then it goes from 24 months, 18 months, 12 months, eventually it's going to be 6 months. Wait, people aren't going to want to wait 6 months to play it cheaper or stolen on PC?
Yeah.
Or stolen.
That's stolen.
That's a whole different show. And okay, so I'm going to give y'all a chance real quick. We're going to have a hot fire round, okay? Hot fire round here. Limit your response to, I don't want to say just yes or no, but limit your response to one or two sentences. Because the final topic, we had the devs come out a few weeks ago, or a couple weeks ago, I think, and say Call of Duty is too big to fail. Okay?
Oh shit!
Call of
this
Duty
not
is too
rapid
big to
topic.
fail.
Thrifty. Oh
No.
shit, Call of Duty rapid topic.
Listen. Hang on. Call of Duty is too big to fail. That's what they told us. That's what they said. They said it's too big to fail. Not too worried about Battlefield. It's fine. Doing separate things. We're fine. Everything's okay. We don't need to be more grounded. Everything's fine. We're too big to fail. We've been around forever. We're okay. Well, today, according to Game Rant, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 devs are now monitoring fan feedback on its weird skins. So, as somebody who put in about 17 hours into the Battlefield 6 demo and had a few random parties, the thing that I kept hearing was, I am so glad there's not the cartoony bullshit in here. Or, man, I'm so glad this feels like a real, like, tactical military shooter. Or, hey, this feels really good. I love the way they did the combat and the destruction and all this other stuff. That's freaking sick. It feels like you're actually, like, everything you do matters in that game. It's so different than Call of Duty. These are actual things that were said while we were playing matches. And then, as somebody not in this space, 100%, if you don't believe me, go check my video. I date myself. The last time I played a game like this with any kind of consistency was Black Ops 3 and Call of Duty Ghost. Those are my last claim to anything first-person shooter competitive space at all. I drilled 17 hours in this shit between 2 weekends. Okay? That was also putting 17 and a half hours, 17 hours into Mafia, putting about 4 hours into Balatro. So I was on the sticks that week. And this game made me put my other shit down, and I went into Battlefield, and I had some of the most fun I've had multiplayer gaming, and I can't tell you when. And that even trumps the times that Will and I think Henry were trying to get me into Remnant 2. And I just couldn't do it. Like, we got to one boss, and I said, that's cheaty as hell, and I'm done. It's the fucking block boss that goes from one cube to the next. Fuck that shit. And so, anyways, like, that's neither here nor there. That's a thrifty skill issue. But now, we have Black Ops 7 devs monitoring fan feedback on one of the main things that people are saying about the Battlefield 6 beta. It's grounded. You don't have to worry about unicorns and rainbows and fighting the Ninja Turtles. It's grounded. It feels like you're playing an actual military shooter. We want that. So much we want that it turned out to beat every single concurrent player number that any Call of Duty has put up over the lifetime of Steam tracking this data in a beta weekend. Like, that's insane. So, their actions say, you know what? Maybe we got to pay attention. Maybe we're a little nervous. Maybe we're taking fan feedback now. But their voice says, we're not worried about it at all. So, do you think Call of Duty, do you think Activision is actually finally worried about another shooter on the market? And I started with Will last time. I think I've started with Jez on one. Faulky, I will start with you on this one. And then we'll just go down the line. So Faulky, Jez, and then Will, you'll wrap us up.
So, what was your question? What do they think?
Do you think that Activision is actually taking notice and slightly so up to this point, here's the reason why I asked this question. Up to this point, they're not wrong. There's not really a game that has come out and held a candle to Call of Duty. Like, so they're not wrong in that.
So do I? No, they're not. So do I think Battlefield 7
Battlefield
is
6
putting the fire to the feet of Battlefield 6? Sorry. Do I think that Battlefield 6 is putting flames to the feet of the COD devs? Yes. Should they be worried? Slightly. Is it too big to fail? No. Hey, Lehman Brothers was too big to fail, and look what that did to the world. Are they in a world of hurt because of their dwindling creativity? I'll put it that way. Yes. They should be worried because it's not difficult to fall off the highest perch. They should always be keeping an eye on those that are coming for the top step. Is it going to happen with Battlefield 7? Probably not. Not Battlefield 7. Call of Duty Black Ops 7? Probably not. But it's not like they've been on a winning streak the last couple of releases. So, nervous. Should they be worried? No. Should they be keeping an eye on the competition? Absolutely.
Okay. Jez, what about you?
I do think that Battlefield is definitely gonna take a chunk, away from the Call of Duty, because last year was kind of the only show in town. And now with Battlefield, I feel that it played well, and I said this before. I was like, the fact that Battlefield gave a hands-on already. We played the beta for 2 weeks straight, like you said. You put so many hours in. I think Call of Duty, it's having its beta early access behind the paid beta. So like, you got to pay to play it early. You have to pre-order it, not just having an open beta. And I think also it being Black Ops 7 is gonna possibly, it's not a new Black Ops, it's not a new Call of Duty. It's basically like a sequel to last year's, and it looks like that it's really like complete opposites. Like they could say all they want about it's gonna be grounded, and we know that for the first season it's gonna appear that way, and then by season 2, Nicki Minaj comes back.
About to say, by season 2 we got
ass.
Transformers that don't actually transform.
Yeah,
like what the fuck?
Exactly.
Like...
They'll have Transformers and goddamn the Smurfs in the game. Like by season 2, season 1 they're gonna look like, hey, we listen to you and stuff like that. And by season 2, they're gonna the Smurf, Papa Smurf will be in there, Teabag and Grumpy Smurf. The thing is that I feel that Black Ops is definitely fighting uphill battle here in the sense that they are throwing shit against the wall. Like, I think the reveal was very poor, and the fact that they're doing this kind of Call of Duty the Shrooms edition with this like psychedelic giants and swords and this fantastical stuff really shows exactly why Beavis and Butthead are in the game. Like, it's like, no, this is just like a virtual world where cartoons are working around. Like,
because that's what the article referenced was the Beavis and Butthead
and they're
skins.
feeding the game. They just basically made the single player as trippy as the multiplayer. So now they could throw Seth Rogen in the goddamn single player and be like, oh yeah, but it's just like they're just tripped out on some weed and shit like that. That's why he's in the game. They kind of like went all in on that kind of Fortnite. We can bring anything we want, into this game, and they got some wall jumping. They wanted to put jetpacks in the game, it looks like, but they didn't. And they kind of went and this futuristic type, weird ass shit, guns and stuff, and it couldn't be any more distant than what Battlefield is offering with real ground, boots on the ground, destruction. It looks incredible, and I mentioned this on the show, was that the graphics in multiplayer usually are toned down from the campaign, and we've seen Battlefield in multiplayer looking that good. We have not seen the campaign in Battlefield.
Oh, that's a good point.
With the destruction and stuff, we are going to, because you always see like Call of Duty multiplayer, and it looks like it's brighter, the shadows are not in there. The campaign always looks better because you don't have to compensate for like people hiding in shadows and things.
Sure.
And the fact that Battlefield, with all the destruction, looks incredible as it is in multiplayer, we haven't seen what the campaign is. And also Battlefield, I feel Battlefield is doing a lot more, with the portal and having different map making. It's basically being that one-stop shop for creativity, campaign, and incredible multiplayer. The Call of Duty way of having the single-player co-op campaign. First off, co-op campaign in Call of Duty. Call of Duty is a corridor shooter. 4 dudes running around to wait for the next spawn of enemies, and then they shoot you, running around in multiplayer. I don't find Call of Duty being very co-op friendly. And the problem is that you're banking on co-op when you got the co-op game in Borderlands 4, which is a real co-op game, compared to throwing 4 dudes in a Call of Duty corridor shooter where you go to the spawn point to make sure that the enemies come running out, and then you pass by them so that they go away from respawning. Like, that's Call of Duty's MO. And then having that, and then after that, it's basically some kind of open world, like PvE type grind, world with zombies, and you got zombies and robots. Like, dude, it's fucking crazy. And I think it's too far out there for Battlefield. Now, I don't think it's not going to sell. I think it will sell, but I do think that it's definitely going to get criticized, and there's going to be a lot of competition now because of Battlefield and what Battlefield has done. Especially Battlefield's not annual, and also the biggest thing in the room, Call of Duty's in Game Pass. Good job for $80 billion. Second year in Game Pass, and you're already now have competition.
So
good business sense.
I actually agree with what you said about the PvE thing. That's one of the things that honestly stopped me from continuing playing, Black Ops 4. That, and they got rid of the campaign. I would have purchased Black Ops 4 if it had a campaign. I did not, and I haven't touched a Black Ops. I played like 2 matches in Warzone, and I said, hell no, that takes up too much space on my PS5. I'm not keeping it.
Yes.
That was literally, I was like, this game sucks, because it literally felt like, even though you're on a team, it felt like you were by yourself. And that is boring and annoying when I am playing a multiplayer shooter. Now, this one, I played with Will and Nelson. I played with Bel Dante. I played with Cosmic Hero, Ace, and then some other randoms. So I played with 5 different people, which means at any given point, 3 of them were in a party with me, and we were literally communicating, we were tagging, we were like, hey, I'll come revive you, and then other ones would say like, no, don't do that, there's 2 more in here, you can't come in, don't worry, blah, blah, blah. You have to communicate, and the matches where we did, it felt so good, and some of those matches, I ended 3-15, still in the top, still on the first screen though of the report, because I was the one who would go into these hot areas and hide in a little corner and capture the map or capture the objective. I played close quarters and it felt too much like Call of Duty, and so I tried it twice and said I'm not doing it again. Because I don't want that, and I think what the beta showed, and I know I'm taking up more time, but I think what the beta showed is that in this shooter space, even somebody like me who used to play Call of Duty, listen, the zombie mode where you play as one of the 4 dead presidents was my favorite zombie mode and my favorite campaign or zombie map, bar none, hands down. I loved it. I sucked at it and I could never get past the second floor, but I loved it. It was so fun. But it was fun because you were on a team of 4 other people, or of 4 people, and you were going through this map, communicating with each other, talking about where stuff was coming from, and it felt like a collective effort against the game. And that's, even though you're playing against other people in Battlefield, that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of hey, this is my squad. I have 4 people in my squad. I'm one of them. We need to have a support. If we're going to do tanks and vehicles, we need an engineer. If we're in Cairo, we need possibly one of the guys with the SMG that can pop off rounds real quick to provide cover fire. It makes you think, and it makes you go, okay. There were games where we loaded in and we're like, hey, we're all assault, and then somebody would quickly go, not me because I can't play any of the other classes, but somebody else would go, oh, I'll do support, and then lo and behold, those were matches where I went 10-5-4 because you don't get the death count if you don't die. And if you have your buddy behind you that you go around the corner like a dumbass, you get killed, but you've already pegged the dude for 2 shots. He comes behind you, pegs the dude for 2 more, kills him, revives you, boom. Death for you, no death, or death for them, no death for you. It brings that communication and that camaraderie back to the shooter space that I have missed. What's up, Ice Queen? How are you? I just saw that you came in. Sorry, I've been pacing. So yeah. Anyways, sorry. Will, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Faulky.
Very, very, very quickly, and I greatly apologise, Will. I got to jump out. I got another call to make.
Hey, Faulky, you're awesome, man. It's been a 3-hour show. I normally only get you for 2. I really appreciate it. You were on time, and it was a 3-hour show. So you have done way above and beyond.
You ask me for 2. Sometimes we have a 4. So
that's true.
Yes. My greatest apologies. It's been a great conversation. It has not felt like that long. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The agreements, the different perspectives. Lovely to chat with you, Jez. Will, great to chat, mate.
Hey, man.
Yeah, man.
Too long. Make it happen. We'll get a Monday where I've got a day off soon. I promise you there's a day off soon.
In 3 months is what he means by soon. That's what he means.
PS6. That's all right. We'll get you in for the PS6.
It'll probably be 12 months old by then. Who knows? All right. Thanks, guys.
Have a good night.
Jumping in, but I got to go.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, dude.
Yeah.
Shout out to Faulky. Thank you so much. Go follow him on X. His link is in the description below. Always a good time. And anyways, sweet. Thank you so much, Faulky, for showing up. Will, what are your final thoughts on this, man?
Final thoughts on Call of Duty.
Yes.
We
Sorry.
just spoke about this, and number one, a snowball can turn into a freaking bigger ball. I don't know what
An avalanche would be the
an avalanche.
There you go.
It would be the there we go. An avalanche. So yeah, and not just with Call of Duty, but in everything, man. As soon as there's a problem, you better do your best, whether it's big or small, to stomp it out. Now, over the last 5 years in specific, Call of Duty has been trending downwards. Every single year, they go down just a little bit more. I don't think Battlefield's going to come here and take over and destroy Call of Duty and make them an indie. But I definitely think that it's applied pressure. Now, last week or this week, throughout social media, there's this letter going around from Raven Studios and Treyarch. I don't know, has anybody been able to debunk that letter or not? Do you know, Thrifty, the letter that I'm talking about?
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about, sir.
What?
A
You haven't
letter?
Heard? Okay. There's an open letter
Some
to
people said it was
gamers.
fake, and then I think it was, I don't know. I think it was fake, but maybe it was real. I don't know.
I tried looking it up
It was
everywhere.
about as
I
real as
didn't.
the Cory Barlog post from Twitter.
But it
Oh,
it
shit.
was basically a letter saying, something about along the lines of, we see you guys playing Battlefield, and you should. It looks like it's a great game, but we want to let you know that we are doing our best to continue being innovative and. So, but if they did do the letter, I think it was smart because it just attracting more attention towards them. Whether people think that it's a moment of weakness or not, it's irrelevant. Bad press is good press. All press is good press. But the complaints that people have had about Call of Duty forever are probably not going to go away. They're just not. They are enjoying the money they're making from Beavis and Butthead and Ninja Turtles with guns. People are still buying the crap out of this.
Right.
And the best way you can make Call of Duty is by not buying the damn game, not playing the damn game. So it's the same old. People complain about it, but as soon as it comes out, they jump on it, they stay on it, they spend money on it.
Okay. So
And just to
your
give you
answer is kind of business as usual then.
Business as usual.
Okay.
But the seed has been planted. And I think that the ball is in Battlefield's court.
If for nothing else, Battlefield is going to get a lot of players like me that have been disgruntled and haven't touched Call of Duty in years coming back to the space. Because, and I'll say it here now, as long as stuff works out like it has been and I can go back to work here in a couple weeks, that game is mine day one. Like, I have made the full decision, because after last week's show, Jez was on, and I had been talking up the beta and super enjoying it, and I was talking to him and Henry afterwards, and I was like, so, I still don't know if I'm going to get it, because $70 for a fucking shooter, that still bothers me. I feel like those type of multiplayer games are way too overpriced, blah, blah, blah. And Jez was like, after saying all that shit, you ain't getting Battlefield 6 day one. He goes, you said all that shit, and you're on the fence about spending $70. And I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. So, like, that game is going to be in my repertoire because it was fun as hell, dude. Like, I can't tell you, I laughed so hard playing that game, especially with Bale and Ace, that I literally died a few times because I couldn't open my eyes. I was laughing so damn hard.
I want to play the campaign. That's what I want to play. That's the reason I didn't buy 2042.
They give you a campaign. Even if it's 7 to 10 hours, I don't give a shit. You're giving me a campaign. You're letting me play something.
Steven just bought it for you, man.
What did he do?
He just bought it for you.
Holy shit! Whoa! Okay, so Battlefield 6 is now purchased by the channel. Stephen Leon, thank you so much. Holy shit, Stephen Leon. with the $100 at the very end of the show. Like, this is the wrap up, guys. I literally have been working on the thumbnail for the live stream after because y'all voted and we're doing Trails from the Sky demo. I've had it downloading. Everything. Wow. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Shit. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Well, Battlefield 7. Here I come. Or Battlefield 6.
7. Oh shit.
Shut up.
7. Oh shit.
No, that's the one topic I wish we would have gotten to, and I can't. But I will be doing a video on it. I'm going to do a video on 2 topics tonight. One was the intro topic that I never got to, of what game would you want to replay for the first time again. Like, if you had any game that you could just replay that experience for the first time again, what game would it be? And then also, the other topic that I wanted to get to was...
Wait, like in this, you mean now? Like replay it now the way it was?
Yeah.
No,
like,
play a game that you played for the first, but play it again for the first time. Like you had no memory of it.
So like
you
one
can
of the
enjoy
games,
the experience.
Right. So one of the games for me that was a great experience that was on the top 5 was the first time I played Chrono Trigger on the Super Nintendo. I loved that game. It had time travel. It had this like portal area that you went to and you went back and fought fucking dinosaurs. Like, it was awesome. It had so much shit. You start off in this like Renaissance fair area with a like princess who's not a princess but is a princess, like, because in a different timeline she is, or in a different universe, world, time, whatever, she is a prince. Like, such good writing, and I had so much fun with that game. And it was a game that actually predated my love for Final Fantasy. So like, that was the game that introduced me to Square Enix, or Squaresoft at the time. And so like, that was in the running. It's not what I chose, but that was in the running for what game I would want to play over again, because it meant so much to me. It was a game that literally opened up that pixel art, little tiny sprite genre for me. Because up to that point, the little tiny sprites were Zelda, Mario, but even Bad Dudes and Double Dragon and the other games I played had bigger character models, had these lovely worlds and these lovely, like, not worlds, but lovely levels that you could go through that were beautifully constructed, but it was a side scroller. So like, the first game that I played that was like a Zelda, where you were these little tiny sprites on, oh god, I'll never forget. I played it on a 13-inch color television that had the UHF and the RHF knobs on that shit. I will never forget that shit. And so like, that experience is attached to that game for me. Like I said, it's not the game that I chose. Anybody who's been around the channel long enough absolutely knows the game that I chose. But I'm going to save that for the video. But that was a topic that I wanted to talk about tonight, because at the end of the day, and this is something that Will preaches on his channel all the time. By the way, go follow his channel. I know that most people here probably already do. Like I said, he's at 1,300. I'm only at 765 or 767 because of tonight. But go follow him. He points out on his channel all the time that we are gamers. We love talking about games. It literally, talking about the news and stuff is fun, but literally what gets that passion lit in us is when we start talking about games, gameplay mechanics, things that we love. Like Stellar Blade, she wasn't just a pair of boobs and a nice butt. Like, that wasn't what that game was about primarily. It had a great story. The combat was rich. Start talking about some of the biomes, like the desert one that you could go to. Talk about some of the fucked up quests in that game, like the sniper that keeps hitting you in the desert biome, and you got to like walk halfway around the fucking map to avoid it. Like, so much stuff is about gaming, and we get wrapped up in the bullshit so many times. So, anyways, that's why I kind of wanted to, and we have the chat going off. Shit, FF8 and RE1. And 2 are a close second.
Yeah, that's what I said. Resident Evil 1, Halo 2.
Oh,
Halo
but I want
2
those.
like one of those ones.
I want those games. I want to play those games again, but with the modern graphics, modern controls. You know.
Yeah, that's why.
Right.
Especially Resident Evil 1.
Yeah, if I played Resident Evil 1 now and I didn't know what was going on, like it would be too much. But like
Yeah.
The memories I had with Resident Evil 1, what that did was like, oh my god, that, and I would say even Final Fantasy 3 for the Super NES. That one.
That's crazy.
That one was huge. That one I got, and Final Fantasy 7 obviously, but Halo 2 was another one where if I could just go, even though the story at the end disappointed me with the cliffhanger and stuff, just the excitement of getting that game and multiplayer and the story and Halo 2 was one. Those are like some memorable ones. But Resident Evil 1, man, oh my, I remember I brought my mom and my dad. I was like, watch the beginning of this game. It's a movie in the beginning. Like, it was one of those kind of like.
That's when cutscenes started to get like real good.
And I remember talking about Final Fantasy 7 story at the dinner table, like telling everybody, like, I'm on disc 3, and oh man.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't make them like that anymore.
No way, they don't. No, they don't. And Resident Evil 2 was another one.
Ooh, dude, that's the same reason I bought Loop. I've never played it, but I used to go to my neighbor's house who he was 5 years older than me, and it's turn-based RPG, JRPG, and to this day, just watching the cutscenes and it blew my mind. And even though it's a genre I don't like, I still bought it so I can play it for the first time now. Just because during that period, dude, we went from nothing to like these cutscenes that were movie quality. It was insane.
Yeah,
well, it felt like movie quality at the time.
It was like real movie in the game, and it was just crazy. Yeah, you're like,
GameCube, all that.
Crazy. Oh my god, what's funny? Somebody posted on X about Eternal Darkness, and like, somebody wants to bring that back. I'm like, yo, Eternal Darkness was incredible on GameCube.
Well, that's the trippy thing about this whole conversation. It's like, we've spoken about the remakes, remasters before, but there is a library of fucking games that they can
Nixus could be doing right.
Nixus could be doing right now, re-releasing, and a lot of people will be happy to go buy them and buy the deluxe edition and buy whatever.
And you know what, Will? That was the same thing I said. Like when Nixus was doing this thing, I'm like, there's so many games that Sony could have do. They care so much about IP and expanding it. I'm like, Nixus, I would grab them and just do a remaster or work on something else within their library and sell it. You want to make money, man. Have them redo anything that you have. Yo, PlayStation All Stars and some bullshit like that. Like, come on. Like, do any of that stuff. Or I was just thinking, and I was like, even make Dreams in VR, like Dreams on VR 2. Yeah. Oh my god, and put that on PC. Let people make maps and games.
You know who does that the best? Nintendo.
Dude,
they do that the best. They take it overboard.
Paper Mario, dude. They bring back Kirby again with the star shoved up his ass.
But that's why I think that's why Nintendo is so popular and people put up so much with Nintendo, because at the end of the day, Nintendo gives the people what they want. And they're not chasing. They're not chasing
golden goose.
They're making more. And by percent point, I mean I forget the exact numbers, but just to give you an example, and they're going to be pretty close. But Xbox, PlayStation, they're making anywhere between like 7-8% on their games. Nintendo is doing 35% plus. Like, that is a huge difference in profit margins. And now you include the IP in an amusement park and theme parks, which is what PlayStation is trying to get into. It's like, bro, they're doing it with a freaking, I talked about Mario Kart, and if it's worth $80, which is not, that studio is 299 people that made that game. It's the same exact people.
And it's all their money. They don't have to split it with Steam. They're going to split it with some other storefront and shit like that.
They don't got to borrow money from the bank. They don't got to borrow from their auntie to make the damn game. Comes right back and in abundance.
Like you have exactly like a hungry group of people that would just buy and keep it. Like, people yell about SOCOM and yell about all this stuff. I'm like, there's so many different things that you can do that would do something. Like, you're chasing this audience, and this is what Microsoft got into, chasing this group. You put your games everywhere, and they still are not enough, because
you make your game for everybody, you make it for nobody.
You just see the numbers. Yeah, you just see the numbers and go, oh, there's 2 billion people out there.
The potential.
Let me put my game out there. The potential, but meanwhile, the reality is that they really don't care, because if they did, they would have come over to your platform and do that stuff. Like, that's the thing. Like,
well, bro, look at the Pro. We still don't have plates for the Pro. We still don't have Horizon Forbidden West plates. We don't have God of War plates. Like, PlayStation is, and that's part of the frustration with PlayStation. Yeah, the games is one thing, but I'm looking right now. I got like 12 controllers that I bought, right? Like you have opportunity here.
Right here.
Yeah, they have opportunity to make money, but they're just I feel like they're and look. I'm not
they
in the
do have them
business.
for Yote though. Yote that.
Oh yeah,
The gold one. The gold one. Oh yeah, you don't like Yote.
No,
but
I'm
that
buying
gold
Yote
one's fire
used.
though. Oh
Pre-owned.
shit.
I'm gonna wait till
Oh,
some little
shit.
fucking kid beats it and trades it in at GameStop before I buy it.
Oh shit.
Nah, man, that's here's the
shit.
thing.
Play- gotta
PlayStation
edit
guys
this part.
hate me, bro. They
This
hate
shit
me
gotta
for
get
that.
edited out.
As
Oh
soon
shit.
as
Look, I
they
want my
said-
boy Jin.
So, Will, I agree with you. This is the last thing I'm going to say, and then we're going to do our exits. I agree with you that the revenge story, when I first heard that it was revenge story, you and I've talked about it before, in my first D&D campaign ever, I ran it as a guy who was, funny enough, anybody who's a D&D fan and who's a Forgotten Realms fan will know all of these references. I named the character Zach Nefane. He was a sword master, and he was a dark elf. And he was just a fighter. My DM didn't want me running a dark elf because he didn't want to have to worry about the Underdark. Anyways, he had a revenge story. Well, I don't know, about 7-8 months into the campaign, and we played weekly, I was like, man, this sucks. I have nothing to do any other time in the game. I'm kind of just a fill-in character at this point because my whole story was looking for the person who killed my brother. That was it. That was the whole reason I was out. So it was just a revenge story. Just whoever killed my brother, it was a tiefling or something like that. And so I was like, I had a racial bent against tieflings because a tiefling is who killed my brother, blah, 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 whatever. So, like, we had this all built into the character. It was great. It was working. And then, like, I don't know, after about 4 months, it fell flat because with a revenge story, it's like a dog chasing a fire truck. What the hell are you going to do when you catch it? Absolutely nothing. You're going to kill the thing, you're going to do it, and then, oh my god, everything is solved. Not really. All the shit you did to get here, all the lives you ruined to get there, now you're left with that. And that guilt. So, you first had the guilt of all your family dying, not being able to do anything. Now you're going to have the guilt of killing everything and leaving this path of destruction in your wake. So, revenge stories don't really give you anything. Until they came out a few days later and said the revenge story is only half. And then I was like, fuck it, I'm here. I'm here for the ride.
But The Last of Us Part 2 was an incredible revenge story.
The Last of Us Part 2 is... Never mind, don't do that. We're not doing that. I can't do that.
The Last of Us
You're,
Part 2.
You're doing that shit on purpose.
Shit.
Y'all can come chat with me in the stream afterwards. Like, y'all
I
can
knew
come...
you didn't get triggered when I bring up that.
And-
you don't
and
like
look-
The Last of Us, but that's a revenge story.
And I don't
It's a
like The Last
revenge
of Us Part 2 either. I mean, the
Oh,
gameplay is
shit.
phenomenal.
Yeah, I
It's
gotta
phenomenal.
get off of this show. Oh,
I'm gonna,
shit.
you know what? And I was talking about this with Nelson on Sunday. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna replay The Last Part 2 because now they did that new chronological order mode, and I'm really interested to see if the story
it's
feels
weird.
better.
You start off as Baby Abby.
Oh shit. Well, anyways, what I was telling, or for the Ghost of Yote shit, it's not gonna surprise me if the revenge shit is the just 20% of the story and their story more into like that would not surprise me at all. But what they have shown me, what they have advertised, I don't like. And the other thing too, I'm not just saying this based off a couple trailers. I have been digging into interviews. The directors of the game have been going out there and interviewing with everybody about this damn game. And not one of those interviews did I hear any good reasoning of why. And I wouldn't have a big deal if they called it something else. But the fact that they call it Ghost of Yote is the fucking problem. If you would have just said Yote and the whatever fucking whatever, okay, fine, cool. But every single interview they've done, every single thing that they have said gives no explanation about the Mongols invading mainland. Jin, is he being chased by the Emperor still? Is there a bounty on his head? How's the
Jin's
uncle
not in the
side
game
of
at
things?
all, they said.
No,
Right.
I know. He's not, no, but that's what I'm saying. In Ghost 1, these are still some of the things that we ended with. They're saying that Jin's story just ended. And the biggest thing that hit me when they said, we wanted to make a game, basically they wanted to make a game that satisfied everybody, or it's a game that everybody wanted to make. And what a fucking coincidence that by them saying that is also in a time when they got a whole bunch of new people that came from places where they made fucking Dragon Age and fucking all these games that failed miserably. What a fucking coincidence that now they want to make a game that everybody wants to make, and a big portion of the new employees come from these failed fucking studios. So there's just some things behind the scenes that don't sit right with me, which leads me to believe that the game is going to have some things I'm not going to like either. But either way, I'm going to find out. I could be wrong. The game could be a 10 out of 10 fucking masterpiece, and that would be cool too. That would be awesome. But I'm not going to give him my day one money. I'm going to wait till I can get a pre-owned copy of it, and then I'll play it.
Right. Like that's and like Steven said, we are all, but most don't admit it. That's the response to what you said. Like,
but
we're
also,
all, yeah,
the people who are hyping the game up, like it's, and that's another thing too. We don't know enough for us to say that this game is a masterpiece or game of the generation. So while I'm on the opposite side of things, we just don't have enough information to be saying the complete opposite of what I said, that this game is going to be the best game ever, blah, blah. So if you're saying that shit too, because you're just saying that based off the original game, which the second one literally has something to do with it, and you're going based off the history of Sucker Punch.
What about the combat? You like the new combat? Or no,
the combat looks good. It looks really good. But this is a movie game. So
I mean,
it's not just the combat.
I put 90 hours into Ghost of Tsushima.
So did I. I got the platinum.
That was before Iki Island. So
I beat it 4 times.
And this is the
it's
same
one of my favorite games. So it's in my top 3 favorite games ever.
At that point, I stopped calling it a movie game when Mafia was a movie game. Mafia,
what I mean by movie, that's
the old
movie
country
game.
Was a movie game.
But I'm throwing jabs at the people who call it a movie game. It's not really a movie game, but it's a narrative-heavy game with a lot of gameplay, open world. Look, Ghost is in my top 3. We have Horizon, Cyberpunk, and Ghost. Those are all in my top 3 games of all times. And that's why I'm being more critical.
I think that is what happened. I think that
you like the second Horizon or the first Horizon?
I like the first Horizon story, but I like the second Horizon gameplay. So I just say Horizon IP because it's the story of the first one is incredible.
I like Horizon. Yeah,
I love the twist in Horizon Forbidden West. Now I'm only halfway through it, but I'm past the twist. One of the major twists, and so I absolutely loved that. I just burned myself out on that game, and that was my fault. Everybody here knows that story. So we are going to go ahead and end this because of Stephen Leon. We did hit the member goal tonight. It was supposed to be Liza P continued. I let the community vote on it tonight during the live chat, and we are going to do the Trails in the Sky FC demo directly after this. I need 10 minutes to go use the restroom because it's been 3 hours.
I finished the Sword in the Stone where I just beat it.
Did you really?
Dude, it's short. It's
like 3 hours?
3. I think it's about an hour. And a half.
Really?
It's done.
Really?
Wow. It just ended. It ended. I was like, whoa, this is the end.
How many biomes are there? Because we're already almost done with the second one.
Oh, there's about 6.
Okay, so me and my household will probably get...
It said I played an hour, and it was...
Really?
Oh no, maybe when your PlayStation will do that sometimes. You gotta close out the game.
Maybe it'll
and then it'll give you an updated time.
Let me see. I'll tell you. It had to be it's got to be about 3 hours long, 2 hours long.
Okay,
so, that's it. It was pretty short.
And if you're pretty good at knowing what you're doing,
I was on the second level. I was on the second level when the podcast started, and I beat it about a half hour ago.
So yeah, it's been about 2.5 hours. 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's all.
That sounds about right. That's how long Journey was.
It was. I tell you, it was a really it was a pretty game. It was really cool. But man, that's all it was.
So I'm gonna go play that. If y'all want to come join me, y'all are more than welcome. It streams live from the PS5. And so we're gonna go do that. On the way out though, Will 777JP. It feels weird every time I do this because you and Jez both have a larger audience than me, so I'm pretty sure most of the people here already follow y'all. But just in case, we'll start with you. Where can people find you, sir?
You can find me at Will777JP, man. YouTube, X, and YouTube. And Josh, yes, Ghost is the IP, and Yote is a problem. That's where you can find me, y'all.
Oh,
all right. Jez with the Gaming Grindhouse. Where can they find you, brother?
Oh, they find me on Gaming Grindhouse on YouTube. Did the live stream with Gamescom, and then I just had the show on Monday. Man, it was a hilarious show. I shared it out again today, man. Go back if you want to laugh. If gaming's getting you in a rut, if any of these things bothering you, go watch that video and go right to the part of Pacta. You'll definitely be laughing because that's what I go through. I'm having a bad day. I'm just back to that part, and I just looked at it. Dude, him in the suit, and then looking the way he looked like somebody stuck a lightning bulb in his ass. My God, that guy's hair. I'm like, yo, it's crazy. And then the real estate commercial in between, the guy trying to sell you homes in Montana. Dude, that was just, I don't know where that incredible. So yeah, if you want to know like where people getting their gaming news from, there you go. That is just ridiculous. But yeah, follow me over there. But hit that like button and definitely pack attack.
Guys, if y'all are not subscribed here or in the Discord, y'all can do both of those from the description below. All the links are there. You can also follow the Gaming Grindhouse and Will through their links. I have both their YouTube channels and their X handles on there, and so y'all can do that. Thank y'all again for coming on. Thank you for the chat. At one point we had like 45 people in here, so that was super cool. Thank y'all so much for those people who showed up. Thank you for hitting the like button. And if you're still here at the end, I will see y'all here in a few minutes. Stephen Leon, you are a freaking rock star. Also, thank you to those who pick up your own membership. It truly helps out every single month. And guess what? We are out of here. I will see y'all later. And as I have said in many things before, we will catch you on the next one.